and so many big names, it would take me hours to say all of their names. The ultimate Cleveland sports show. Booyah!
All right, hello everybody. Yes, if you're a little confused right now, what the hell's going on? Well, so are we.
So are we. It's a fire drill today.
It's me, Jason Lloyd. You know us, Earl. We know everybody knows Earl. He works behind the scenes normally. Here he is. And Robert Conley is with us. Robert is the newest member of the show. We fired J and G. No, I'm just kidding. I'm hearing an echo, by the way, guys.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's anything we can do, but I'm hearing a bad echo.
You got to deal with it for now. We got other issues to take care of first.
Robert is an artist, local artist. You live in Cleveland, Robert?
I live in Bedford Heights.
He lives in Bedford Heights. I told you, Bedford Heights. Somebody told me Cleveland. They lied to me.
I'm born and raised Cleveland.
But born and raised in Cleveland. There you go. And he's done all this awesome artwork and more.
I was looking through the sketchbook earlier. It looks terrific.
Yeah, it's absolutely beautiful. And you see some of the pictures there in front of us on the glass. And then back behind, we got some pictures up here, too. Robert, lean your head one way so we can see that picture. Oh, get a close-up of that one, guys. That's a new one he recently did. I don't know if we can get a close-up on that one.
It's coming. It's coming.
It's the Cavs picture. And by the way, I'm calling for close-ups. Steve, our director, is losing his mind. It is not his fault. Things went crazy. Now, why is Jay not here? Why is G not here? Jay was just in a serious accident. We think he's okay.
Jay's
right?
okay. He just called me. It sounds like everything's. This is a chaotic morning, guys.
Yeah.
Wow. Jay got in a car accident on the way here. He called me. He sounds fine, but he said I could walk and do the show. I'll be a few minutes late, or I can take care of insurance, call the police, and make sure everyone else in the scene.
So we told him to walk.
Okay, so we
he'll
told
be here in a
Jay,
minute.
Let's go.
Get here, you're fired. No, we're kidding. We told Jay to take care of the situation. We wish him the best. He sounded fine when I talked to him. I hope he is okay. I hope the woman involved who he says hit him is okay as well. And there's a traffic jam because of that, and guess who's stuck in that traffic jam?
G.
Bush. So they'll be here at some point. Until then, we got Earl and Robert, and we're going to make the best of a situation. When life gives you lemons, you make it lemonade. And we have a local artist on the show with all his artwork here. Let's talk a little art before we get into some Browns and Cavs other stuff.
So, Robert, how long have you been, is it drawing, painting? What's the appropriate word I'm supposed to use here?
It would be drawing.
Okay.
I've been drawing my whole life.
Yeah.
Recently got more serious about it in the last 5-6 years.
Yeah.
Different concepts in my head, they just come up. And I'm a big Cleveland guy.
Yeah.
Sports guy, Ohio. There's the jacket.
Right.
And
Home of the Bobcats, G. Bush's school.
Yeah, I actually found this jacket recently, and
Okay.
I wore it because I figured he would get a kick out of it.
Yeah.
But yes, I come up with all different concepts. I kind of enjoy doing it. I can sit back all day long and do it.
That's a much tougher looking elf than the one on the Browns field.
Yeah,
Which is fine. I like the one on the field, but that one's even better.
Yeah, all these ideas tend to just pop in my head,
Right.
and I just kind of go with it and change up as it goes. So it's enjoying to me.
I told Earl that I'm amazed by stuff like this because my art is stick figures and birds. And I have zero artistic ability.
Yeah, let me move this so we can get a better look at the Myles Garrett
So
picture there in the
something
middle.
like this, how long would that take for you to do?
That tends to take me, because I still have a 9-to-5 I do every day. But that tends to take me probably about a week and a half, 2 weeks.
Wow.
I already have the idea in my head. It just kind of pops in.
Yeah.
So once I get that, I just go with it. It's just something that looks that hard is pretty easy to me. I don't know why. It just tends to just go like that.
That's incredible.
All right, G. Bush is here. I think we should put G in Earl's spot.
Yeah,
for
Earl,
now.
Earl, we're calling you back.
We'll
We're calling an audible
Put G
real
in
quick.
Earl's spot. Sorry, Earl. Earl, do you? We're gonna get,
No,
we're gonna
let
get
Earl
more
talk.
in
Earl
a minute,
hasn't
but
spoken
Earl,
yet.
I
Earl's on
feel
his
like you're on
panel.
camera now. You should get some comment in.
Wait, hold up, Earl, before you go.
Be making my TV debut this
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
In the most unprepared way.
Yes.
I'm here.
Yeah.
You know?
The last second.
Well, we're going to shoot a
Take
short.
a
This
picture
is a
of Earl
short
on-
live. Earl,
Yeah,
this
take
is
a
your
picture of
short
Earl
and an on-air
on set.
debut.
This
Talk
is
to the
crazy.
camera.
Well, you look like a natural.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. That's the goal.
Yeah.
I've learned from guys like these two gentlemen here.
Yeah. Well, we got a lot to get to today, guys. G. Bush is going to come in. Jay's hopefully going to be okay, but we won't see him today. Now we got a lot of Brown stuff we'll get to. We're going to go fence riders. We're going to do a draft. Who's filling in for Jay in the draft? You, Mike?
I guess I'm drafting.
I think
we'll do a production
Or
team.
Earl?
Me, Earl,
you do
and
a production
Anthony.
team?
We'll draft.
So You have specifically made a picture for this show. Is that correct?
Sure.
You've drawn
Yeah, I
one.
sure have.
Can you tell us about it? I mean, should we bring it out now, or no?
You know what? We've already broken every rule possible for a YouTube TV show this morning, so why not?
Let's bring
just
it
do
out.
Okay, so I watch the show every day. I'm a big fan. So
We appreciate it.
I just decided to, I talked to Steve.
Yeah.
And I just decided to come up with concepts because I kind of know you guys' personality, hadn't met you yet. But I just came up with different things and tried to incorporate all the Cleveland teams in it, but make it kind of fun. So that's what the picture.
Well, we got to bring G. Bush out here too.
G.
where
Bush
are
is
you?
ready in
gotta
1
see it.
sec.
Why is
So
G.
you
Bush
guys got to
out?
stall for 30 seconds while G. Bush gets
need
ready.
him out here.
And then we're good.
There he is. Just walk right on. It's all right. He's going away again. I don't know what he's doing.
He's a diva.
Gee, we need you on here, man.
It's okay. He's got to be best. He's got to be his best.
He's a terrible at stretching. He be paying
No, I'm not.
Take him off, bring him back.
No, because everything's crazy anyway. We got to get you. Robert's excited to meet
Hey,
you.
what's up,
Very
man?
nice
Wore
to
the
meet you, man.
jacket for you.
Hey, I
I
told
did.
you.
I
over
did.
there.
I
How you
did.
doing,
I did.
man?
How
We
you
got to
doing?
get you in here for the picture.
Hold on. We got to mic him up first. We got to mic him up.
We got to
first.
Rob. Mike. Oh, look at this. Oh, this is awesome. This is really awesome.
Let's
Let
see
me
it,
show.
Bull. Turn it around.
Sorry.
Yeah, you're
I'm
admiring
the
it.
only one who can see it.
Oh, this is great.
Look at
Oh,
that.
that's awesome.
Hey, let me move this. Here we go.
Oh, that's freaking awesome.
Had a lot of fun doing that.
Robert, that's phenomenal, man. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Look
He
at
got
that.
my
That's
glasses,
great.
right?
And Mike, you know that's you in the corner with the.
I see that. Hey, you know what? They could have put me on the T-shirt, but I appreciate you, Robert. Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's the skinniest I've been in 22 years.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I look chubby, but not as chubby as I am now. So the bottom row is Mikey, G. Bush looking like a coach, Jay and me.
T-ball.
And then on the top row, we got Brad, we got Tyvis, we got Jason, and Mike Polk.
There it is.
That's awesome, man.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's really good.
Now, how
Here,
long did it take to do that?
That was about a week and a half.
Wow.
Because I watch the show every day. I kind of know everybody's personalities. So I just had to find the pictures I wanted to use, which way I wanted to do it, make everybody kind of work with their, just the personalities. And, yeah.
That's super dope.
Thank you.
You
Thank
even
you.
gave me the notes. I like
Yes.
it. I'm digging
Yeah,
it, man.
everybody's
Yeah.
personality. I had to fit it in
Cool.
there.
I'm a big baseball fan.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, grubby beard there. I like that.
So when you first hit me up, it was crazy because I usually always reply to somebody. You know what I'm saying? In the beginning, did you think like I was being for real or not, or you just like he was like, "Hey, dude, I do some drawings," and I'm like, "All right, well, that's kind of cool. Let me see your drawings." You sent me all these crazy drawings. Like you sent the Miles Garrett stuff. You sent like 4 or 5 other pictures, and I'm like, "Oh, this is really good." Like, usually generally speaking, somebody says they draw, but it'd be like stick figures. It'd be it'd be regular.
It'd be my drawing.
Yeah. You'd be like, "Oh, that's you got to play nice role." "Oh, yeah, that's tight, dog."
Well, I didn't think you were serious at first. We spoke a couple times.
Yeah.
I know you're a busy man.
But everyone else knows I don't be answering texts like that.
I heard that on the show. So I figured.
If he doesn't text you back right away, you don't hear for a
I didn't
while.
take offense to it.
Okay.
Because I
So you
figured,
do be.
you were busy. And then I think Jay said, you don't answer texts. Or somebody said it, maybe Adam.
Yeah.
And I said, well, I'll just fit right in there.
Yeah. So then eventually we got back around to it. I was like, "Yo, we'll get this to Steve," and then he started talking to Steve, and he said, "Yo, he's gonna bring him on the show." I was like, "This is super dope, man. I don't know any other stations or radio. I don't know people get no drawings.
No.
This is what UCSS is about, bro."
Absolutely. Now, Robert, tell me, if folks want to buy your art, which I'm sure they will want to, because it's real. Well, they can't buy this one.
No,
Because this
that's
one's gonna-
personalized.
Yeah.
That one's gonna. We got to find a great spot for this one.
Yeah, that's actually for the set, too. I brought
It'll
it
be on
for-
the set. We'll
We
find a nice
appreciate
spot
it.
for that.
I mean,
That's awesome, man.
No, I'm
Thank you.
saying great spot on the set. That's what I meant. But if they want to buy your other art, which all these awesome pictures, you saw the Cavs picture in the back, with the
Yeah.
Myles Garrett, got Ohio State. Look at that.
Love that one.
That's great. It's all really beautiful work. How can they get it if they're interested in connecting with you? Or you said you do personal, like if somebody wants to do something, you do
I
it
do
for
that
them.
consistently. A lot of people call me and ask me to do their personalized, their kids, their grandkids.
Yeah.
I've drawn puppies. I've drawn anything that people want.
Right.
I am not I would say maybe Instagram would probably be the best thing. It's Conley, C, middle initial, Robert, or Concepts by Conley is my company name.
Okay.
They could call me. Is it okay to give my number out?
I don't know.
Or would that be a bad thing?
No, as long as you don't care about all the people watching
they
that are
can
going to
stalk you
text
all
you.
they want. That's all you, bro. No.
Yeah.
Well, they can stalk me. I
Hey,
kind of
hey,
stalk
Robert,
you.
it's
Oh,
this.
yeah, right. Yeah, right.
Kind of stalk you.
Hey, Robert, how about you send me your? I'll send your number out when we send out the tweet with the video, the picture. That
Amazing,
way,
amazing.
People can see it that way. They're not going to remember it if you just say
If
it
I
now,
just
but
say it, right.
I'll put it out like that for
And
you.
this will
don't worry.
become this picture, which is just awesome. I love that G. Bush is wearing shorts.
I'm taking a picture of it.
Is
I was the first person to break that rule.
going to become a permanent
shorts.
member of the set, which is just great.
Well, I'm glad that is because that was the point kind of me trying to
Yeah.
do it. Once Steve asked me to do it, I got real excited about it and just started researching and figuring out which ones, how I wanted to do everybody, where I wanted to place you. You had the one with the headset, so I said, okay, that's cool because that's from the barbershop.
Yep.
And now try to get your logo on your hat too. You know, it's kind of small.
Yes, I do see it. He got
Yeah.
the panda on the hat too.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hey, see, this is what I'm talking about, man. Listen, attention to detail. Nobody else has a picture. This is great. I'm actually pumped. Where are we gonna put that at?
We
I
may
need that
keep
to
one
be
of the
visible.
easels down here and put it on an easel in the back.
That's a good idea.
I think
I
that's
kind of
what
have
we'll do.
issues with detail.
G. Bush, you
If I
also
see
like
it,
an
I draw.
offensive coordinator there.
Hey,
we
he
love it.
even got the thickness of the glasses right. That's the thickness.
That's important. I wear glasses too,
yeah.
so I figured.
And then I forgot him.
Yeah, that's
I couldn't see nothing. I don't see none of this. Look at, that is how his neck be too. You know, Brad's neck be like.
And Robert, do you know why I know
Like
this is going to be a
that,
hit
bro.
with everybody? Jay doesn't look 75 years old like he does in the T-shirt.
In the
And Jay
T-shirt?
got very upset that they made him look so old in the T-shirt. I think you nailed the fact that he's mid-50s. I think you nailed that fact.
If you look at Jay really quickly again, he looks like a light-skinned Barack Obama, though.
Oh wow!
He look like
Wow.
like he does. Like if you glance quick, they're like, that's G. Bush and Obama.
I'll
I'd
never
vote for
look
that
at Jay the
ticket.
same.
See the Obama.
I see it. I
You
see
see
it.
it? Maybe it's the lips and the eyes, bro.
Well, I can tell you, my daughter's gonna love you because I'm not on the T-shirt, and she is so mad
There
when
you
I
go.
put
wow.
the T-shirt
Well,
home. She's like, "Why aren't you on there?"
Oh my goodness, that does look like that's Jason Lloyd. That's dead on you.
I'm like, honey, the T-shirts were in production before I was even part of the show. She's like, well, they should have found a spot. You should be on the T-shirt.
You even got
so
the
the fact that
hairline.
you included me
Okay.
on this, she's gonna
Yeah,
be
I
your
think
biggest fan.
Jason's face. Well, I'm trying to think whose face looks the best. I
Oh,
think
mine. I'm the best
I
looking.
think it's either Jason or G I feel like are the most dead on.
I'm the best looking, so
And
it's
you know
me.
Jason's eyes is real small. So like he always permanently squinting like it's
Yeah,
you know
I've
what
been that
I'm
way
saying?
my whole life. I smile, my eyes disappear.
That's fire.
thank you.
Robert, we appreciate you making
Yeah,
the
thank
picture.
you, Robert.
Appreciate you coming down, and we will spread the word for people who, want to buy your stuff. It's great.
Thank
Oh,
you,
hey,
man.
hey,
Thank
hey,
you very
man,
much
Yeah,
for
and
having
Robert and
me.
his brother, what's your brother's Adam?
Yes.
Are going to hang out for the show.
Hey man, hey, salute to you, man, brother. I appreciate you for coming
Thank you.
through,
I
man.
appreciate you having
and,
me.
yeah, man, it just goes to show you, man. Anytime you really good at something, you can make a living out of it, right?
That's the goal.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the goal. Yeah.
Well, good luck.
Thank
man,
you very
this looks
much.
great.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Adam.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate it.
You got it.
sir.
Thank you.
All right, guys. So,
So here's what we're going to do.
Well, okay.
Robert, we're going to unmic you. We're going to bring you back over here. We're going to start the draft.
yeah.
I will draft for Jay. Earl's going to run upstairs, get
All right,
Robert
man,
and his brother some
appreciate you, man.
T-shirts.
That jacket is
So
All
we're
right, let
gonna-
me explain to everybody what we're
Yes.
doing here.
Please explain to me
Let me
because I'm
explain
still
what we're
trying to
doing.
figure it out.
Okay, so what we're doing is we're going to do 2 drafts. We did this with coaches once before, you may remember, and I was declared the victor appropriately.
No.
So just leave it in the chair.
I have a lot of thoughts on that, but we're
We-
not going to get into it now.
You weren't here that
Yes,
day.
I
Oh,
was.
You were. That's right.
I drafted.
That's right. Belichick.
Yeah.
All right. But today,
and
here's what
YouTube's
we're
gonna
doing.
vote a
So our
winner, by the
first
way.
draft is going to be only Browns players. We're taking 16, 4 players on each team, and we're leaving position bias out of it. Obviously, if you're in an NFL draft, you'd rather have the 5th best quarterback than the number 1 running back from the NFL. But we're not, no position bias in the way. We're drafting based on their production this season only. Everybody with me on that?
So we drafted not on lifetime, just this
No,
year.
just
this
this
year.
year. how productive they've been this year. We're doing the Browns, and then after that, we'll do Browns-Bengals combined. Production this year. It's an exercise to see where we run, how long the list goes before we're picking Browns players where we're like, ugh. And then how many Browns versus Bengals get picked. All right, Mikey, what's the draft order for the first draft for the Browns draft?
This is also an exercise in reading the instructions because I sent that out last night.
Yeah.
And then in the group chat we went over it, so I'm glad everyone read that.
Yes.
The draft order is snake draft. G, you have the first pick. Jason, you're up second. Production team, a.k.a. Jay, will be third. Bull, you are fourth, and you start us in the second round.
Right.
I did it with a random generator this morning. That's how it came out.
There's nothing we can do about the echo, by the way? We're out of luck?
We're working on it. We're working on it.
All
I'm
right,
sorry.
I'm going to take the earpiece out then.
You can't hear me then.
I know, but it's the echoes.
I'll relay to him.
Okay, all right, I'll put it in. All right, go ahead. So, first up, here we go.
G, you're up first.
G, you got the first pick in the Browns-only draft based on production this year.
Oh, just the Browns only? This
Yeah.
is easy. I don't know why y'all gave me the first pick, bro. Rocking and rolling. Give me Nick Chubb.
Seems pretty obvious. I think I got screwed with the fourth pick in this draft, but okay.
I'll screw this one up. Don't worry.
No, I think Nick Chubb was the pretty obvious first pick. Jason, you're up second.
Oh boy.
Jason's looking at lists already. See, I brought a cheat sheet.
But this dude, they wrote him down. You dirty dog.
So position doesn't matter. I mean, I guess I got to take Amari Cooper, right?
You take whoever you take. I don't know.
All right, Amari Cooper.
All right, Amari Cooper to Jason. Mike, who you taking?
Pick number 3, we are still going to go with Myles Garrett.
3. Oh, still going with Myles Garrett. All right, I get the steal of the draft at pick 4. That's Joel Bitonio.
All right, wait a minute.
What?
I thought we were doing this like a fantasy.
No, every position.
All right.
Well, yeah, Jason, we went over this before the show. We went over this in the text messages before the show. I told you last night, and then Bull explained it on the show. This is
I have
4 times.
ADD. I don't know what you want from me.
And he is so enamored with the picture next to him of how skinny he looks in that
Yeah.
Robert that he
It does,
cannot
bro.
remember anything
All
in
right,
real life.
I'll start the second round with David Njoku. So I got Bitonio and Njoku.
Good selection. Team production. We went through this morning.
Yeah.
Give us Martin Emerson Jr.
All
our
right, a
second
little
pick.
overdrafted, but that's okay. Jason, next
Building a
up.
defense. Based on this year, right?
Based only
Just
on this year. Yeah. Need some
Give me
Jeopardy music there.
DPJ.
DPJ, you're up, G. 2 picks. End the second round, start the third round.
Man, give me Teller.
Teller and who you got to start the third round?
Poachage.
To go in 2 offensive linemen, Teller and Pochich. Jason, you're up.
Who was your third pick? Teller and
Teller and Pochich.
Pochich. Good pick.
Yeah, that was a good pick.
Y'all in trouble. You always is.
Give me Brissett.
Jason, that was my
Brissett.
pick.
Kobe Brissett off the board.
That was my pick. I'm very
That was a
upset
good
there,
one.
Jason.
Production team, who you got?
We're going to do a little huddle real quick. Anthony, we went over this before. We want to go another defensive player here. I'm thinking this person right here.
You know the defense has failed them all year.
Yeah, stop sticking way away from those guys.
I mean,
It is.
this is pretty much there's
going
only
Taki
10
Taki.
players worth drafting. That's it. That's the end
And
of
the
the
10
list.
have been taken, so now this is the point. This is who's
Yeah,
getting the best or worst.
the last 6 are nobody's having a particularly good year outside
We're
of those
taking
10
Taki
players.
Taki.
Who's that?
Taki Taki.
All right. I'll take Kareem Hunt.
And you
He's
go
been-
again.
Decently productive when he's played.
Yeah.
Last pick of the 4th round, I'll take Clowney.
We're going Delpit.
It's a good one.
All right, Jason. One more pick for you, and then one more for G.
It gets tough. These last 2 are tough.
Yeah. We going too fast? You saying? It's a bit of a we. All right, let's go.
Give me JOK.
You down with JOK?
And G. Bush
you down
ended
with
the
that?
16th best player on the Browns this year has
I'll take
been
Newsom.
Greg Newsom.
Greg Newsom. That means, guys, for the record, guys like Denzel Ward, undrafted.
I thought about Denzel.
Only 4 players on offense that are playmakers. Got your 5, excuse me. 5 playmakers, 1 quarterback, a couple offensive linemen, a lot of
I
defensive
don't know that
linemen.
5 playmakers is that unusual in the top 16. I think that's about right.
You don't think other teams like I can think of? Well, maybe you're right. Out of 16.
I mean, if you were doing the Bengals, you'd either have 5 or 6. And they have a great offense.
You're right. That's fair. Well, speaking of the Bengals Bowl, let's make this a little more intriguing. Let's add them into the mix.
All
here.
right, but first, before we do that, are we voting?
We're
Do we
gonna
have to
YouTube
do a
poll
vote
up. We're
on
gonna
the
have a
Browns
YouTube
teams
poll
or
up.
no?
Well, Earl, where'd Earl go? Earl disappeared. We'll do a survey. This is chaos back here, guys.
It is chaos.
Yes.
Listen, things are crazy.
Yeah.
We're glad you're with us. Jay got into a car accident. G got stuck behind the car accident. Things are a little off the rails today, but we're pulling it back in.
Speaking
Yeah.
of Jay,
We're pulling it together.
Speaking of Jay,
We got our new picture sitting in the chair.
I'm confused.
G is confused. He don't know what's going on right
No
now.
glasses on. I'm like this. I'm like Stefan Urkel.
G and Jason didn't read the 42 text messages about this thing we're doing.
Hey man, I
Didn't even pay attention.
I got straight talk. My phone got cut off. I had to get a scratch off card. For
Oh,
the
boy.
straight
by the
talk.
way, guys, Jay sent me a picture of his car. He's okay. He says I'm fine. He got hit. He got hit pretty good.
Yeah?
I'll show you guys
Oh,
when
God,
we
we're
wrap
glad
up.
he's all right.
He got hit pretty good.
We're preparing the set the last second. I saw Director Steve got angry for the first time.
First time ever.
7 months we've been here. I didn't know that guy ever got angry. That was pretty impressive.
He put hands on y'all?
No, he was mad, and he's probably pissed because I'm asking about the echo because I can't stand echoes.
He put them paws on bull.
But it's not his fault because everything happened last second, and we're it's crazy.
And also on top of that, it's a brand new audio board that all
And a
the-
brand new audio board. That's probably why we're getting the echo, because our
Exactly.
audio board went to hell yesterday. That's why we ended the show early. So it's been a bit of a disaster, but we're with you. We love you. Just hang with us. We'll be all right.
We do love you
got
guys.
the mean elf over my shoulder. I love that. All right, let's do the Bengals-Browns combined draft now.
So are we doing a 45-second poll? The famous Mike.
Well,
I
listen,
won
Earl's
that.
back.
Don't even go to
Earl's
the polls.
back.
You're dead.
The vote is open. The vote is
Landslide.
closed.
Right
Zip 'em
now,
up.
we did put a poll up. You guys ready for the results?
Yeah, I mean, it was a massive advantage for these two since they had the first 2 picks. There's only 10 decent players.
Look at
But
your
go
preface
ahead.
and stuff.
For the first time in the history, well, we are drafting for Jay, so this is pretty on par, but Jay came dead last. Production Jay came dead last, and as no surprise, the People's Champ comes away as the People's Champ again.
I got the best player. I got the best line. And Newsom ain't even that bad. That was a landslide.
Well, I got the best lineman. I got Petonio.
I got Petonio, Poachers, and Teller.
No, I got Petonio.
He got Antonio.
I mean, I got Teller and Poachers.
Yeah, but Teller's not having a good year, though.
According to the fans, they are.
The fans
He's
are
having a
not
beautiful break.
known for their smarts.
Beautiful. And I got Nick Chubb. I'm handing the ball
Yeah,
off.
that's true. You got Nick Chubb. You
But
got that juice.
real quick, before we do the next one, people are asking on YouTube who missed the full teams. We're gonna go through the full teams real quick. Production team, you don't take you switch it to Jay. Perfect. This is what production took. We took Myles Garrett, Emerson spelled wrong, Taki, and Delpit.
Who was that?
Who's next?
That is an ass team right there.
G. Bush took Chubb, Teller, Pochich, and Newsom.
I mean, 2 of those guys are having bad years.
Jason took Cooper, DPJ, Brissett, and JOK.
Actually,
and
your
lastly,
I like-
Bolton,
I
Actually, your
my
team is
team.
kind of good.
Batonio, and
If
Joe
I had to
Clowney,
vote,
and
honestly,
Hunt.
I think Jason's team is the best.
Of course it is.
Mine is second, G's is third, and Jay and the production team is a distant fourth.
Well, as more votes continue to come in, G's
That's
lead
my opinion.
continues to
Jason
grow.
definitely had the best team.
Yeah, I do
fans
think
blew
Jason
it.
probably,
I'm
won that.
confused. You know what I do on the internet? Internet is undefeated.
The People's Champ,
that's
though.
true.
Still are. All right, let's add it back in with the Bengals now.
All right, so now we're doing the same thing, except it's Bengals and Browns is the pool.
Ooh.
And we're reversing the order. So I go first, production team second, Jason third, G fourth,
Oh,
and then
he knew he was ready. You see how vocal he is?
Yeah,
We
yeah.
reverse it. I take Joe Burrow right now.
obviously the decision is between Burrow and Nick Chubb, of course.
There you go.
I'm going to go Burrow because I'm only using position to break the tie.
All right.
Burrow is super elite at quarterback. Nick Chubb super elite at running back. I'll break the tie with position. I'll go with Burrow with the first pick overall.
And we are-
Production team.
That makes our choice very easy. We were going to take – it's like Greg Oden, Kevin Durant. Whichever one you took, we're just going to take the other. No discussion here. Unanimous decision. We will take one Nicholas Chubb.
All right.
There you go.
Jason, you're up.
I got to take Jamar Chase.
Jamar Chase with the third pick in the draft. G, you are up.
This is tough. I'm looking around real quick. Let me see what I'm gonna get my mind together right quick. You know, I'm gonna still continue to build from what I do best. Give me Nah, y'all here dead. Let me get this. I'm coming with Myles Garrett.
Myles Garrett, that's the right choice.
And we drop it. I'm back up again.
You're back up, yeah.
This is lit. These are the ends I should have been getting. Give me Trey Hendrickson.
It's a
Ain't
good
nobody
choice.
running nothing up
Very
here.
good choice.
Woo!
Browns fans, though, are not going to know the Bengals defensive players, how good they are. That could hurt you in the voting.
That could.
Jason?
Google it.
Jason, you're up.
Me Mixon.
Mixon.
Joe Mixon.
That's a bad pick. I'm taking Higgins. Give me T. Higgins.
T. Higgins. I had him in the first thing, and you guys blew it. I got to go Joel Bitonio. How does he get all the way to 8? I had him ranked 3rd overall, 4th overall behind Myles Garrett. All right, and then I'll start the 3rd round with who do I got on my list? We're going DJ Reader, Bengals nose tackle.
Okay.
Excellent run stopper.
All right, we're going to do a little production meeting here for our 3rd pick. Hold on.
All right, production team. You guys already finished last in the first vote.
Do we go
trending
Homer or
that
do we
way
go
again.
Smart? Homer or Smart?
Hey man.
All right, I've been overruled. I
Yep.
agree with the choice though. We're gonna take Logan Wilson, the linebacker for the Bengals.
Not even the best linebacker on the Bengals this year. Go ahead.
He's better than
Is
Jermaine
this the
Pratt.
time where I get to go twice or just once?
No, I'm up.
Jason's up.
Mark Cooper. I'll take him
It's a
again.
good choice.
Man, y'all cats crazy. I got the coldest defense in the world.
Oh, boy.
Man, give me Jesse Bates.
Jesse Bates.
You're done. 0.
Not
No.
having a great season.
It doesn't matter.
Been
They know
good,
he's
not
good.
great.
You saw him. You know he's good. Miles.
But you know who is having a great season? Sam Hubbard, the Buckeye.
Are
It wasn't my turn.
No, it wasn't.
It's not your turn. No,
Shoot.
It's
you're
my
actually
turn.
you're dead last in this round.
Going all defense?
That hurt your heart.
G.
Yeah,
Bush,
that
you got
did.
another
Because
pick.
I could just really just.
You could
dump-
take him here.
I'm not gonna take Sam Humber. I'm going right back to Teller. What do you mean? I need lineman right
Oh,
quick.
boy, got to get Teller. All right.
Yeah,
Jason,
Give me DPJ again.
that's a good one. I like
Damn. I wouldn't put him in my top 30.
DPJ? He's having a great year.
Nah.
that. He gonna get some.
We're
money.
going to
68.6 PFF grade.
He's having a
Good, not
great year.
great.
we're gonna end our winning draft with another defensive player here. Give us Mr. Martin Emerson Jr., the best rookie cornerback in the NFL.
Who'd you take?
Martin Emerson Jr.
Martin Emerson Jr. And then I'll take Sam Hubbard.
There you go. He fell to you.
And that is it. Would you like us to read the teams? We're gonna put another
Yeah, let's
YouTube
see the
poll
team.
up.
Oh, yeah, let's read us the teams. Yeah.
Okay, so team production: Chubb, Higgins, Wilson, and Martin Emerson. G. Bush.
First 2 picks were strong. Second 2, you overdrafted, in my opinion. Go ahead.
G. Bush had Myles Garrett, Teller, Hendrickson, and who was your 4th, G?
Bates.
And Jesse Bates. Jason, Chase, Mixon, Cooper, DPJ, no defense.
You don't need defense.
And Bull went Burrow, Bitonio, Sam Hubbard, and Njoku, correct?
No.
Oh, and Choku didn't get taken. I should have taken him. instead of
No.
DPJ.
Who was your 4th?
How do you
Hubbard.
get
DJ,
DJ
Sam
Reader,
Hubbard
sorry,
here?
DJ Reader.
He's
No.
Hubbard. Yeah, he got Hubbard.
You got Hubbard and Reader.
And Reader,
Yeah,
Reader.
Reader.
All right,
about
based
Njoku.
on their production this year, I won, and it's not close.
There we go.
It's not close. If you look at, first of all, the only way to grade defensive players and offensive linemen is PFF grade. Nobody knows.
You got a run stopper. Why'd you get a run stopper in the draft? No one knows about run stopping.
The guy is in one of the 2, 3. I got.
We're stopping the poll.
I got
after
the
3
best
votes.
offensive
We're
lineman.
stopping the poll after 3 votes. Production wins with 2 of the 3 votes. Poll closed. Production. No, I'm just kidding. But 2 of the first 3 votes were for production.
I'm like, man, y'all
If,
worse.
if
y'all
you
worse
ask,
than
if you
votes in
ask
Arizona.
PFF who won, I won going away. Trust me.
Well, do we try? You say you hate PFF.
I don't hate
All you had to do is get one skill position with Burrow, and it would have been a landslide.
That's what I got.
Who'd you get?
Oh, one skill position with Burrow.
Yes.
I still can't wrap my head around what we're doing. How do you evaluate a lineman versus
I went by
3
PFF
receivers?
grade.
Y'all must have not been playing Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh or none of that, man.
Yeah.
You got to learn how to mix and match with the people, bro.
Yeah, I didn't play for the people.
But listen,
I played for the grades.
your son knows exactly what I'm talking about. And he
Yeah.
told me, he texted me that I had the greatest team. Shout out
You don't
to
even
him.
have a phone.
Shout out to
He
him.
texted us too. He said G1. He texted us too.
Yeah.
Also, we got Maurice coming in here.
Yeah.
What's up, Maurice? How you doing, man?
He's in the whip.
We have don't tell me we're having audio issues again. Can you guys hear me?
We
got you.
Can't hear you.
Yeah, with the echo, but
Maurice can't hear us. Hold on.
Well, looks
Can you hear us
we
now,
have 9-1,
Maurice?
fellas.
I can hear you now.
Beautiful.
Oh, you hear us,
You got
Maurice?
us?
Our audio board went haywire
Yep.
yesterday, so all these things we're troubleshooting as we go. We can't test it, so we appreciate your patience.
What a
Maurice, how you
system.
doing, man? Good to see you.
All is well. All is well.
Y'all ready to play some fence questions?
let's do it.
Yeah. Fence
Well-
game.
Maurice, by the way, this has been the show from the most chaotic show we've had yet, so we would just bear with us if anything happens. We appreciate it. So, as always, we
sounds
do
good.
fence questions every Thursday with Maurice. We have a 6-pack today. We have no unanimous answers. First time in 5 weeks we have not had a unanimous answer, which I appreciate. Are you ready? Is everyone ready? Steve, you good?
Ready, yeah.
Ready.
Fence question number 1. Will Kareem Hunt get more touches this week than Samaje Perine? Maurice, you're up first.
I said no.
Maurice says no, and he agrees with the majority of the people here. The one person who says yes is Tyvis. He's not here, so let's all pound on Tyvis, tell him why he's completely wrong. What's
I don't
up?
know what he's thinking about. I don't know. They got Kareem Hunt on the milk box. He's been on there forever. What happened to that boy?
He just played a lot last week. You guys were going on and on about how he played.
He did play. He played a little more, but that's inconsistent. I couldn't count on Stefanski doing anything over and over again. He comes in there this week, and I'm like, and P. Ryan's been getting a rock a whole lot.
Right, but Mixon is back, though.
He'll be all right.
What was the exact question again? Who will get more touches, P. Ryan or Hunt?
Yeah, will Kareem Hunt get more touches? And
Hunt.
you guys all said no, Perine gets more touches.
Yeah, I as great as P. Ryan has played, with Mixon back, I think Hunt will probably touch it more. But
Well, you said no.
oh, okay,
I
so
just-
I'm wrong. I changed my mind.
Maurice, what do you think?
I told you.
No, I just think that my decision was based solely on Deshaun just getting more passes and them trying to get him into the swing of things and just leaning on Nick. So it was mainly based on Deshaun throwing more.
All right,
right,
you guys
number
ready for
two,
question
Mike.
number 2? Anyone else have any thoughts on P. Ryan Hunt?
No,
Nope.
No.
I need P. Ryan to have a big game so I can beat G. Bush in fantasy, but that's besides
That's
the
not
point.
happening.
That
either.
was the Mike Lucas special as bull.
They was trying to
bull
give
Mike.
Mike
away
is about
these
to
wins.
lock up his stand-up
Y'all
special.
keep trying to give away these wins. We don't give no wins away over here, man.
We don't.
Question number 2. Joe Burrow has thrown 4 interceptions in 4 games versus the Browns in his career. Will that trend become 5 in 5 this weekend? We had 3-3 split on the set here, Maurice, so you're going to be our tiebreaker. What says you?
Hey, this is wishful thinking. I'm saying yes after last week.
Yes, after last week. That means he resides on the same side of the fence as Tyvis Powell, Brad Sellers, and Jason Lloyd.
I never remember my answers. I'm always excited to see, hey, what did I pick?
I'm surprised, Jason. You don't really drink the Kool-Aid like that.
Well, one interception, I think they can do that.
All right.
They can pull out.
I thought you did. The other two is definitely a Watson Kool-Aid fans. You know, they
Yeah,
think they're going to
they're
get 3 or
Watson
4
Kool-Aid
wins.
guys.
This
Yeah.
has nothing to do with Watson.
Oh, yes,
This
it
is
do.
Burrow.
It's Watson's over everything. He's
By
a
the way,
superintendent.
in the 2 most meaningful Browns wins over Burrow, because in 2020 the Browns were the better team, but the win last year that he played in and the win this year, there was a turnover on the first drive for the Bengals, which kind of
That one
set
last
the
year,
tone.
man, that was the Denzel 99
99-yard touchdown,
like the
which was
Bengals were driving. They were moving down the field,
Right.
and then bam,
and
it
the whole
switched.
and it was like the whole game was over.
It
after
flipped
that.
right on that.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm trying to figure out if James Rapine and Bull are confident or optimistically cautious about this game. Because Rapine, he's like, look, it's only been the other 2 games didn't count. There's 2 right here. Y'all got us to 2 games, but this cannot, by any stretch of imagination, be close.
Yeah,
Maurice-
I mean, I'm confident, but there is a little part of me that's like, what is going on? It just doesn't make any sense. If I don't buy the Browns' own Burrow. I will if they win this game.
If they win this game, there's no reason.
That locks it in.
It's crazy.
Maurice, what do you think of Deshaun Watson's debut on Sunday? We haven't talked to you since then.
Well, I've seen maybe a quarter and a half. When I did see it, I tweeted G. Bush, but he never responds to me. He hurts his feelings, right? Oh,
See how we doing? Everybody is the same.
Yeah,
I don't
no.
know, but I take medication, people.
No, I mean, like everybody else, I was happy I was happy they won. From the highlights I had seen, that it wasn't a very impressive showing for him, but it looked like the defense got after it and we got the victory. So I'll be watching this week. I don't know. I'm happy. I'm happy that the Browns are going to turn the season around and pull off these last 5 or 6 games.
Okay, question number 3. We'll keep it moving.
He got the Kool-Aid ready. I'll be
Maurice
watching
has got
game.
the Kool-Aid.
Kool-Aid
He's
is
drinking the Kool-Aid
going.
with you.
The
Hey,
Kool-Aid is
I
flowing.
need the Kool-Aid for the Ohio State Georgia game too.
Oh,
So
you
we're
need
full
that?
of
Okay.
Kool-Aid out here in
We'll
Columbus.
get to that at the end of this, Maurice. We'll talk a little Ohio State. Don't worry. Question number 3, though. Will Myles Garrett have more sacks than the rest of the Browns team combined this week? Once again, a split answer. You will be a deciding factor here, Maurice. Which side do you fall on this fence?
I'm just going to say yes because I'm being more serious right now. Yes, because the defense had a great showing last week, and maybe Deshaun coming back, and maybe the defense having a solid showing, motivates him to do more, to be more aggressive, and to have more sex. So I'm going to say yes. I'm going to go on whoever said yes.
And ironically, the 3 people who said yes, the 3 people sitting in these chairs right now, plus Tyvis Powell.
You said it was 3-3.
I can't count. It's one of the other things that have gone wrong today is
Well,
my ability to count to 3.
I mean, Myles Garrett only needs 1 sack because the rest of the team is not likely to have a sack combined.
That's exactly my thought
You know,
process. They've struggled to put pressure on the quarterback outside of Miles.
They got listen. Listen. If you are listening, Joe Woods, I know you be listening because you got to keep your enemies closer than your friends. You know what it is. I've been texting you. No, I haven't been texting you. No restraining order. My man, he has something brilliant. Stand up, Myles Garrett 3 technique is undefeated. You cannot beat him. I've never seen anything like that. He gives him a 2-way goal, standing up over the guard. As Mike McNugget says, it's the Euro step. He can Euro step either way, finish with either hand. It's unstoppable against the guard. They need to give you 3 more sessions like that, and then stack Clowney on that side, and then bring JOK off the weak side. It's tried and true. You can steal that. You don't have to give me credit for it. And you just run that 2-3 plays, you'll get you a big play. Come on, Joe Woods. Remix that. Bring that right back.
We may or may not have lost Maurice, so stand by. Just another wrench thrown into today's thing.
It's been a challenging day, but we're plowing through, baby.
You cannot stop us.
Let's go. Nothing can stop us. Car accidents, traffic, echoes, bad audio, bad video. Nothing can stop us here.
All right, hold on. Maurice is back. Maurice, can you hear us now?
I'm back. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Listen, just like Maurice, we will persevere through all these issues today.
Good.
For question number 4.
Adjustments.
Yeah, no, we appreciate you, Maurice. Will DPJ and Njoku combine for more receiving yards this game than Jamar Chase?
That's a good question.
Thank you. Maurice.
I said yes. When you sent me this, I said yes, and I'm telling you, I just believe that Deshaun will be able to, or he's going out and trying to establish his identity within the offense, and that means you're passing the ball around. You probably don't have any favorites. You're going through all your reads. So I'm going to say yes. I would hope that this answer is right, so I'm just going to say yes.
Maurice says
that
yes.
Defense does well.
So does Jay. So does G, but no one else. G, you want to start?
Yeah, see, the Njoku coming back, that's a huge thing. Now you can control the middle of the field. Now you can get some of those other routes open because now you got somebody in the middle field that you can throw the ball to. And DPJ, I think he's going to be a player, real talk. Like, here's the thing about medium players. Medium players, it's like guys who are batting their 8th and 9th in the order. You know what I'm saying? They get a couple hits. All of a sudden, they get on base. They steal a couple base. All of a sudden, they think they like a 4 or 5 player. Like, your confidence gets up. When you run a kickback, you done had the best year of your life. Deshaun Watson is coming back. You like, man, this is about to be great. Donovan Peoples-Jones looks at the Bengals secondary and be like, man, they ain't even better than me. That's how he feel right now, bro. He can't, he's just got.
Wait,
Go ahead, Maurice.
Yeah, no, but he will get better matchups. You know, when you having coverage being rolled away from you, you get better matchups. When the quarterback comes to the line, you know, it's all about saying, okay, where's coverage at and who has the mismatch on them. And not to say that anybody is bad for the Bengals offense, but chances are your second, third, and fourth options are going to have the coverage that is going to be more favorable to a quarterback completing the pass than your first option, right? So I'm just assuming I'm building on the same thing you're saying, and you know, like you said, with Njoku being able to run down the middle of the field, and you have more coverage that's true to form, or more of a base defense back there. You know, other guys get they get the defensive look that they need in order for Deshaun to make the pass. So that's why I say yes.
There's a couple of reasons why I think Chase will have more yards. One, obviously, you know, the Bengals go to him often, and he's fresh coming off a few straight weeks where he didn't play. And then last week he had, I think, 90-something yards. But here's a big thing that probably a lot of people don't know. The Bengals are the number one team in the NFL in least amount of yards after catch. The Bengals give up less yak yards than any team in the NFL, which tells you that even if Donovan Peoples-Jones and Njoku catch the ball, they're probably going down right away. The Browns are one of the worst teams in the league in giving up yak yardage. And so Jamar Chase, you miss the first tackle on him, he might break at 80 yards. He's much more likely to have a big play than DPJ or Njoku are, and ultimately that's why I went with that.
Yeah, that's really good reasoning, obviously. I just looked at it like, I think Deshaun Watson's going to be better, obviously, than what he was. But how can you have faith that he's going to be able to stand in the pocket and deliver? Right. I think it's going to be longer of a period to get him reacclimated than maybe we thought. I think he's going to be better, but I don't know that we're going to see the Deshaun everyone expected to see that fast.
Right. If you combine Deshaun, who in his career is an extremely accurate quarterback, but at the moment is an inaccurate quarterback with a team that tackles well, that's a bad combo for a lot of receiving yards.
I think he's going to look a lot better Sunday.
Sure.
But
I don't think he's going to be peak Deshaun.
Right. And I think there's two concern areas as I go back and watch that all 22 film. The Browns were pressured 40% of the times against the Texans. Jedrick Wills and Conklin are not playing good football. I mean, they are getting beat way too quickly, especially coming off the edges. It just seems like Jedrick Wills doesn't even know where he's at half the time.
And the Bengals got two ends
and they got
playing
two
well.
ends playing well. If they get pressure on a quarterback that has just got into the swing of things and trying to find his rhythm, it's going to be all bad. It just is.
Yeah. All right, Mikey.
Question number 5. This is a Deshaun Watson-related question. He did not play well in his debut, so the question this time is, will he throw for at least 2 touchdowns versus Cincinnati? Maurice, you're up first.
I say yes, and it was just I'm simply going that, man, you pay somebody all this money, and this is just the business of it. You pay somebody all this money, they're getting back into the swing of things. You're going to try to give them every opportunity to earn their money and to get back into the swing of things. And so I say yes. I just say yes.
Maurice says yes. Jay and Brad said yes. Jason, Tyvis, Bull, and G all said no.
Yeah, I mean, again, as Jason said before, it's hard to have a lot of faith in Deshaun Watson's passing game right now after what we saw last week. It feels like it's going to take some time. And I think in the red zone, the Bengals have been more vulnerable to the run than the pass. I don't see the Browns getting a long touchdown to get a passing touchdown. So if they score a touchdown, it's more likely to be in the red zone. If they're in the red zone, they're more likely to give it to Nick Chubb.
Yeah, I said no last week. We had this question last week, and I said no, and I don't see any reason to change the answer.
Yeah. You went no, though, too, G.
Of course I went no on this one. I'm going to give him – because what the Browns should be doing is utilizing the run game. The run game still is in effect. The Nick Chubb experience is still in effect. He should still be getting more than 20 carries. Just because the quarterback changed don't mean nothing. All we need is Deshaun Watson to get to a level today of Jacoby Brissett. Because guess what? When they had Jacoby Brissett, they actually did the Bengals kind of dirty the first game. Just get to the level of Brissett, still run the football, play physical, and you'll get a touchdown in the air. He might use his legs to get a touchdown on the ground as well. And if it is a field goal type of affair, I need Cade York once again to hit all his extra points, and I need him to hit all his field goals. If you can do that and the Browns can keep, I like what you said, if they can keep Jamar Chase for them long ones. He hasn't really killed us in one of the games. He usually has a marquee game against a lot of other teams where he gets 150, 175. Last year, he didn't have a really good game, dropped a few passes against the rookie Newsome. I expect that type of game every single time. He's going to explode at some time, but they got to keep it to he catches the ball, they tackle him, and make him do it again.
All
John,
right, Mike,
yes. Question number 6, last one, then we'll talk a little Ohio State with Maurice for 1 sec. The question is, will either team, Bengals or Browns, score a touchdown of at least 45 yards on Sunday? It did not happen in the first matchup, but it has happened in previous ones. Maurice, what say you?
No. I said 0. I said no.
He says no. He agrees with Jay and Tyvis, which means the 3 of you on the set all said yes, there will be. Why?
Just big playability, certainly by the Bengals. On the Bengals side of things, they've got obviously those playmakers at wide receiver. I don't think it's outlandish to think that they pop a big one given the problems that the Browns have had in the secondary off and on. And who knows? Nick Chubb could get loose on a long run. Normally I go against things like this, but call it a gut feeling.
Yeah. Jamar Chase has more 45-yard touchdowns than any player, 45-yard plus touchdowns than any player in football since the start of last season. So
when you get over the 50-yard line, that's where you can start to see the Browns receivers kind of come into play. Can you imagine? They could get it there from 40. I could imagine the routes where Cooper and DPJ go up and get one. Higgins and Boyd are in play there as well. And if you look at Njoku and Mixon and Chubb, those guys could take it to the house from that length. I think there's a lot of big play guys out there, and basically any one of them could get 45 yards. I think it'll be. I think somebody will have an explosive play.
Awesome. That is our fence questions. Maurice, before we let you go, though, I have to ask you this question about Ohio State real quick. You called on from the get-go Michigan was too tough, too nasty for Ohio State, but I saw you tweet after Ohio State got into the Final Four that you're not sure Georgia can handle what Ohio State's going to bring coming off that loss. Are you picking the Buckeyes to pull off the upset?
Yeah, if you know me, I'm a big troll online. All I do, I troll people and play around online with people all day. But, it's a tall order to beat Georgia. And this is me being a little bit more serious. It's a tall order to beat Georgia, and a lot of it comes down to nastiness and toughness. And I'm not sure that I can articulate that any other way than that. And when I seen Georgia play earlier in the season, I just was like, man, these guys will be tough to beat because they're aggressive. They pursue the ball very well. They have a 3-headed monster in the backfield that is going to pound the ball down your throat. And they just have them playing real old school nasty football, the SEC version of what Harbaugh had done with those guys up there in Michigan. And so I'm not biased. Of course, I want Ohio State to win. But when I call sports or I'm talking about sports, online you'll see me troll, and I'll play around with people who are fans or people who oppose or whatever it is. I'll just play around with them and make jokes and be sarcastic. But just being honest with you, just as a sports fan, man, it's a tall order. And if Ryan Day and the rest of that coaching staff isn't preparing to be as nasty as they can, be as aggressive as they can, and to be more firm, in the trenches, it's going to be a long day, and they will beat the brakes off of Ohio State. That's one way. But if these guys go out and you say, hey, man, we have the best receiver in college football, and you go out and say, hey, man, we have one of the best quarterbacks, and, if you have an open and it's time to run until you take off for 10 yards and you go, have a chance to win. But, that's a lot. It's a lot to ask. It's a lot to ask somebody to be tough and aggressive after they've not displayed that for an entire season. Most of these guys have been on the sideline after, 2.5 quarters. And so I don't know what's going to happen because in a playoff game, anything happens and anybody can show up and anybody can win. It's not a given for Georgia, but I'm not going to get on this platform and say that Ohio State just doesn't need to bring just something else to the table that reinvigorates them, to go ahead and make a championship run.
And Maurice, I know what reinvigorate them. if they see number 11 running out the tunnel. But that ain't coming. JSN is like, look, for anybody, for me, I knew what type of time it was. He got the Joey Bosa. That was Nick Bosa. He got the Nick Bosa conversation. They said, now listen now, you ain't played all year.
His family keeps saying he's hurt. I mean, you don't think there's no chance he's hurt? Maurice, you don't think there's any chance he's really hurt still?
Look, he laugh it off. He does not want to come out there after all year chilling, and you go against the SEC team, right? If you get locked up, they gonna say, "Ooh, you was looking kind of slow." Then they gonna ask you to run a 40, Maurice. They gonna say, "Well, can we get you on time?" And then if he run a 4.56, 4.5, 4.
You know who I don't want to say he messed up because he's my friend, right? It is sort of like, remember when they said Cordell Jones should have came out after winning the national championship? He should have left, and
Tyvis was his roommate. Tyvis told him he should have left. He'd have been a second-round pick.
Yeah, 100%, because somebody would have said, hey, man, T. Barrett got hurt. If JT, somebody would have made sense of it to draft him higher, and he could have benefited from it. So JSN has created all of his value. He is who he is, and there's nothing else to prove, right? So this is like, here's the thing, right? We talk about brotherhood and play for a school, but at the end of the day, this is a business, right? Let's take all of that now here. And the business is, let me come here, let me win games, and let me try to position myself to go to the NFL and make me a lot of money. And he's done that, right? And so the other part is that, do I go out here and mess up my draft stock and for potential 2 games? I wouldn't do it. It's a business decision.
Yeah, I do think it's possible he could raise his draft stock if he played, but I got no beef with him not playing at all. It's a business decision. That's none of my business. I got no problem with it personally.
You don't think he's the number 1 receiver coming off the board next year?
I mean, I don't know for sure because I haven't followed the other teams close enough, but I think if he went out there and just played out of his mind in these 2 games, it could raise his stock overall. Even if he is the number 1 receiver, maybe a team at 5 takes him instead of 10 because they think he's too good to pass up.
If he goes out there and pulls his hamstring again,
certainly
then he's injury prone.
He could definitely lose stock too, no doubt. Thanks, Maurice.
I'll say this.
Go ahead.
All right. Well, see.
No. Go ahead.
Oh no. I was just saying that when you have Marvin Harrison Jr., who's been playing out of his mind, right? And then you have Olave and what is the kid? Olave and the kid that Garrett Wilson, who came out last year, right? When you have all of that brewing, it has to go through your mind that NFL coaches think that these guys are prepared very well, right? Yeah. Yeah. And they sent the kid down to Alabama, Williamson, I think his name was. Yeah. But I'm pretty sure that has to go through his mind that there's NFL coaches that know he's prepared, he's well, and if he comes and he works out real well without like a chink in the armor, somebody has to say, man, this guy was the number 1 receiver in Texas football history, right? You know what I'm saying? To me, I think there's enough people making an argument to say, shut up, sit down, go out here and get $20 million guaranteed. Yeah. And hug your brothers, you know what I'm saying, in the locker room. But, man, go ahead and take care of yourself. I think that's the conversation being had.
Mm. Thanks, Maurice.
Good stuff, man.
All right. We appreciate it, man.
Thanks, Maurice.
Good to talk with Maurice Clarett, as always. Guys, anybody have a problem with him not playing? I don't.
I was a little surprised just because you're playing for a national championship.
Right.
So even if it's a Rose Bowl, I don't blame you, sit. But I don't know. Are we sure he is? After missing his entire season, that he's going to be the number 1 receiver?
He's not number 1 on Mel Kiper's big board
I'm
right
sorry,
now.
I didn't hear what you said.
He's not number 1 on Mel Kiper. He released a new top 30 today.
Yeah.
He's the number 3 receiver.
Doesn't mean Mel Kiper's right, but
I'm just saying.
He's got usually got a pretty good hand.
Yeah, sure.
You know what I always say, man. So you can make a decision. One decision could change your life for the good or the bad. I'm looking at it like this. He the last thing I saw him, I remember him getting 379 on Utah, right? Sometimes he can come back, and it's just the way you phrase it. See, the media is good. The media is not they're not the scouts, but the media, we just like parrots. We hear one person say it, then everybody say it. Then he'll come back, play against Georgia. I don't know about his top end speed. That's a death sentence for a receiver. I ain't practiced all year. I ain't got no training, and I'm coming back against Georgia, and then we can potentially, if we win that, I got to come back against Michigan, and now you playing against Michigan, and they definitely think you are the reason that you're going to win, and they didn't win the first time. So there's a lot of pressure in that, man. There's and plus I will give it a bit of a doubt. Maybe the doctor said your hamstring isn't healed. It is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know.
We don't know.
And if it is that serious, they're certainly going to try and keep that as under wraps as possible.
Oh, yeah.
Because now NFL teams are going to be poking around on that
and
wondering what it is.
Yeah.
But I guess my question is, what's to stop any draft-eligible player from saying, I'm
Nothing.
Nothing?
And then
well,
what?
if you're not a first-round pick, like if you're not projected right now as a first-round pick, you're going to want to play to try to build as much stock as possible. But for any first-round pick, honestly, they have no incentive to play even in a playoff game, unless it's just for personal pride, whatever.
No first-round pick is ever going to play in them lightweight bowls.
Never.
But even in the expanded playoff, I think teams are gonna. I think there's gonna be some legitimate stars who say it's not worth playing in a 5-11 matchup, and they're gonna get hurt, and he's gonna sit out. There's too many games that are not extremely relevant to the championship hunt now. I think we're gonna see more guys sit out from this expansion, not fewer.
And I've said on the show, I'm all about capitalism. Make as much money as you can. So I don't want to now come back and say you should play. But when it is a national championship, this isn't just even a Rose Bowl.
Yeah.
Like when you got a chance to win a championship, he's in a tough spot because if you're a competitor, you want to play, but you also have to protect your future. So I do see both sides.
If you're a quarterback, you got to play though. I think if you're a quarterback, people will frown upon that because you're the guy, right? So if you're in the playoff, if you're a tight end or you're the second string running back, cool. But quarterbacks will have to play.
Yeah, we should place as a show a bet on whether or not Jackson Smith-Njigba will be the first receiver taken when the draft books open in Ohio come next year, which, by the way, if you're going to bet, you'd be silly not to be using BetJack. The time has arrived, Ohio sports fans. Sports betting is going live January 1st. Download the BetJack app today so you'll be ready to go all in on the action. BetJack, it's Ohio's sportsbook. And if Ohio State does beat Georgia, you can place your first bet on Ohio State winning the national championship on January 1st. They play on New Year's Eve. It opens January 1st. It'd be a great first bet for any Ohioan to make. The Buckeyes.
Here's the question. If the game, let's say the game goes to overtime, the overtime could start right at midnight on January 1st. Could you then bet? Will the betting start at 12:01 a.m.?
No. I've looked up the bylaws, and the first day you can place your first legal bet is up to the second. You can't get that
really?
Yeah, you can't get that.
So you're saying it opens on the first, and then
you could bet on the second.
Got you.
Interesting. I wonder why that is.
I don't know.
All right. Well, who are the top two on Kuiper's list right now, Mike?
Jordan Addison out of USC and a guy I've never heard of, and I closed the link, but I'll pull it back up here in a sec. But a guy I was not familiar with from.
I'll be honest, I never heard of the guy from USC.
He won the.
Addison is way too small.
He won whatever the Biletnikoff Award was last year. He
was at Pitt. So he was Kenny Pickett's number one receiver. Mm-hmm. Then they basically USC offered him all this money, NIL.
I remember that
and
now.
Dipped out.
Yeah.
He's a short receiver.
Yeah.
He's not fast like John Ross was, unless he goes to the combine.
John crazy. Ross was a massive bust.
Oh Lord Jesus. Yeah. But he's number one. He got the size of McNuggets.
He's number one, and then Quentin Johnston of TCU is number two.
Is it number one? He got dreadlocks.
Yes, number one.
Yeah, he's pretty good, but I don't know about his
top. And then Jackson Smith-Njigba is 22nd overall on his big board.
Yeah, so let's say that the team, and listen, it's one guy's opinion. Every team's opinion on these guys is different, but maybe Jackson Smith-Njigba is on the lower end of the first round list right now, and maybe if he went in the playoffs and played great, he'd move up, but he could just as easily not play well or get hurt and end up dropping down to a second-round pick.
And second round, man, the difference between the money in the second round and first round is palpable. Like you get a 5th-year option in the first round. Second year, that's why Nick Chubb was so hell bent on him getting some money, because you're a running back that got picked in the second round. You don't even get the 4th-year option. So the
5th-year option.
5th year, sorry, yeah. Money's different.
I thought Maurice had a good point, though, just in terms of pedigree. If you come to Ohio State, you're a receiver.
That's true.
You just look at Chris Olave and Garrett Wilson, and you think, okay, these guys have been coached well.
Yeah.
We know we can drop them into our system. They're going to contribute right away.
I mean, they're probably the top 2 for the offensive rookie of the year.
Olave and Garrett Wilson.
Yeah.
Boy, that's a monster catch Garrett Wilson had. Was it last week, the week before? That catch and run, he's a beast.
Olave was eating up the Tampa
think
Bay
about
Buccaneers.
They've both been great, and neither one
terrible quarterbacks.
Both have terrible quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Terrible.
O-State beat
Can you imagine if either of those guys was playing with a good quarterback?
Yeah.
O-State had Jamison Williams.
Yeah, who finally played for the first
Jackson
time
Smith
this week.
and Jigba.
Yeah.
Olave and Garrett Wilson and Marvin Harrison Jr.
Right.
at the same time. Get up out of here, man. What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you selling?
So the assumption will be that Jackson Smith and Jigba is going to be good as well.
Yes.
Because these guys have been good.
Well, both of them said that he was better than them.
Yeah.
They all sat down in like a little 3 interview, and they said, "Oh, well, he's better than both of us." I mean, he led the team in receiving when they were there.
Yep. It's possible, by the way, that the MVP could be Burrow, who played at Ohio State. The Defensive Player of the Year could be Bosa, who played at Ohio State. The Rookie of the Year on offense is either going to be Wilson or Olave, Ohio State. Defensive Rookie of the Year, probably Sauce Gardner.
Man.
He played at Cincinnati, which is in Ohio.
This
What's that?
He played at Cincinnati, which is in Ohio. So.
Hey,
There you go.
you know what? I'll change my mind. You know what? He is right. He should have sat out all the games. Matter of fact, that's such a good plan. I want to sit out. I'm going to sit out the Ultimate Cleveland Short Show until the end of January. Just come back and be like, yeah, bro, I'm back. Where's the money at, man? Listen, I'm saving my voice. They'll be like, Garrett, we've replaced you. We've replaced you with the guy who did the pictures. You're out of here.
You're out.
He's the better version of Ohio.
You don't have that Ohio jacket. Where the hell did you get it from, too? I'm still waiting.
All right, we're going to bring Aditi in the mix here in just a minute. We're also going to get to Baker, who may, let's start the conversation now. If Aditi comes in, we'll get back to it. But Baker may start for the Rams today.
This is crazy.
Tonight.
It's crazy.
Let me tell you something, and I may regret saying this in a month.
Don't you say this.
I think this is the best place for him to be. I actually think, and I've been as hard as Baker as Bull has, he's not as bad. Can we all agree he is not as bad as what he showed in Carolina?
Sean McVay may be a good coach, but they're terrible right now.
Yeah, I know. But I'm just saying, when they are healthy.
Yeah, but he's a free agent. I don't know that he's going to be there.
Well, I'm not sure.
I agree with you that if he does end up there next year, it is a good spot
This could be a really good spot for him. This could be the best thing. I think I said on this show, I wrote it, I don't know. I never liked the Carolina fit for him because he was going into a situation that was even more volatile than Cleveland was. Matt Rule's an awful NFL
although
coach.
there were an awful lot of Baker bros saying he has so much talent around him there.
No, I didn't like that spot. Yeah. And now I think he's in a good spot. I'm not saying he's going to throw over 300 yards tonight.
Yeah.
But I think, obviously that's a good franchise when they're healthy. Obviously, Sean McVay's a good offensive coach. This could be a really good thing for him.
But isn't Stafford the starter next year?
If he plays, who's to say he doesn't walk away? I think there's a chance.
Matt Stafford looked terrible this year.
But he was hurt.
He
looked terrible.
He looked trash.
But he may, if he steps. Listen, if Baker, I don't think Baker is being guaranteed a starting job anywhere at this point.
No.
There's no way.
No.
But if Matt Stafford retires, he would have a chance to start for the Rams next year if they brought him back. And yes, it would be a good spot because next year he'll have Cooper Kupp. But right now, he's not. I can't imagine he's going to show much.
I'm going to say
because their running game stinks, their offensive line stinks, and Cooper Kupp's hurt. They got nothing.
If there's any, we're going to find out today, or if he does play, how much coaching matters in the NFL, right? You're going to find out just how much.
Well, tonight is going to be just a slim down, if he actually plays.
Yes, but it'll be slimmed down. But I'm looking at Baker more like 5 games. Like, I'm looking for it like the same way with Deshaun Watson. 5 games, can you get better build-ups or something?
Yeah.
And I like.
But it's not like McVay's done a good job this year. I mean, his team's they go from they're tied for the 3rd worst record in the NFL.
I mean, they lost the receivers. Their running game isn't what it was.
Andrew Whitworth retiring was big. All right, we got Aditi?
We do have Aditi, yeah. And I don't know who's on what IFB, so I apologize if I'm talking in your ear. We switched literally Aditi, this has been the technological show.
Been a crazy day
from the get-go.
Yeah,
all the IFTs are messed up.
I apologize for looking down. I'm like trying to figure out what's going on. I had a blue screen for a good 4 minutes.
Let me tell you what's happening here. Yesterday, our soundboard crapped out in the middle of the show, so we had to cancel the second hour of the show. We only did 1 hour. Today, right before the show started, Jay got into a serious car accident. He's fine, but his car is trashed. Then G got caught up in the traffic behind that accident. So Jay didn't come. G got in here last second. So things were just, and we're having issues still.
Wait, but Jay is okay?
Jay is fine.
Jay's okay. Jay's okay.
He's fine.
He offered to walk here.
He offered to
do
walk
the show,
here,
and I said he should.
I thought I saw. I was like, "Is that okay? Come on, man."
But why didn't she pick him up?
He looked decent.
Gee, if you were behind the accident when you drove by, why didn't you pick him up?
He had to deal with the insurance and police.
Jay had
and all
to stay there and deal with the insurance and the police. Apparently, his car is totally trashed, but he is
I'll show
fine.
you guys the video after. It's pretty gnarly.
Yeah.
What happened?
Apparently, somebody T-boned.
Someone ran a stop sign and T-boned him. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
he's lucky he wasn't seriously hurt.
No, Jay's very lucky. And Jay said he's doing good, so we are very thankful.
Go
Passenger side or driver side?
It hit. I don't know. I don't want to show you guys the video because I don't have the HIPAA violation for that. But Aditi, I'll show you after. And I don't know where it hit.
Okay.
But he's fine.
He's
fine.
okay.
But he
Jay is
should go
okay.
to the doctor just to
Jay's
be on
okay.
the safe side. Sometimes you get in an
for
accident. I remember getting in a car. Somebody hit me once. It wasn't that bad. They hit me from behind, but I remember I felt fine, and then like a couple hours later, my neck was hurting because the adrenaline in the moment, you don't know. Sometimes things start hurting later, so he should probably go get himself checked out. But as far as we know, he's fine. Obviously, there was nothing serious injuries, which is good. So on a much lighter
Which is funny
note,
because in the last show, he was so great about both Spiro and Jay. So I messaged Spiro and Jay, and I was going to tell him. I'll just have to text him now and tell him what Spiro and Jay had to say about him.
Exactly. All right, Aditi, we were just talking about Baker Mayfield. He may actually – this is stunning to me. I mean, they just got him off waivers on Tuesday. He's having a miserable season. Jason's right. We didn't – none of us – even the biggest critics like Jason and I did not think he'd be this bad. And now he might start. I mean, they went from the Super Bowl champs to picking up a quarterback off the waiver wire who's starting. I don't think we've ever seen a team go downhill this quick. Have we?
Well, I mean, I guess that whole F them picks thing has finally maybe
but you know
caught
what?
up to them.
If you win the Super Bowl, it's worth it. It's worth it. You won the Super Bowl.
Well, and that's the interesting question, right? Let's deal with the Baker part of it first.
Yeah.
So I think that this is, let's hope that Baker plays free. At this point, Baker has nothing to lose. There is no reason to be tight. There is no pressure. Nobody expects a single thing of you. All right?
Yeah.
You showed up on Tuesday. How much of the offense can you possibly know? You don't even know your teammates' names at this point. Go out there, ball out, have fun, and see what happens. And I think this is very similar to a quarterback that is in an environment where he feels like, okay, this is my last chance. This is my moment. It's one of those like pressure burst pipes, and it also makes diamonds. How do you handle it? Do you seize the moment? This is my chance to prove who I am, or do you get tight because of it? And obviously, you guys just made the point. In Carolina, there were a million things going sort of not necessarily amazing, but I don't know that Baker necessarily seized the moment as well as he could have. And perhaps some of that might have been the tightness. That was a year ago when he didn't have the contract extension. And we saw earlier in the season, he maybe didn't just say, okay, I'm just going to ball out and let's see where the chips fall. So now there really is nothing to lose. You just got to LA. Yeah. Go out and play and see what happens. And I think it would be a heck of a story. I mean, I think it would be a really, really great story to see him get out there and play. And why not? I mean, why not? But it is a really terrible story. And I also saw something interesting the other day, if we're going to go back to the Rams. Would you take Matthew Stafford today over Jared Goff?
Oh, that's
considering their age, where they are, how much they cost, whatever.
I mean, I wouldn't want either at this point.
Give me Goff.
But I'd still take Stafford and hope that he can come back healthy because I know that Stafford's ceiling is higher than Goff's ceiling.
I don't think.
But this is the question of what you were saying about, well, you got your Super Bowl. this is the magic of an executive who can simultaneously build for the long term and know when to kind of cash in some chips for the right now, And so it's interesting to see how that plays out. And we've talked about this a lot on this show. This is what's so funny, guys. Can you tell, I'm doing my best not to use the Steelers or the Bengals or the Ravens as an example, and I'm just failing because I feel like I have perfect examples with those three clubs right there, and I don't know how to do it without mentioning another club. Somebody bail me out right here. But again, that's kind of the point. You do want to always be somewhat relevant, so build for not just today, but also tomorrow and 2 years from now and 3 years from now. But you have to be smart and savvy enough to know, okay, this is not when we give up everything, but this is when we maybe pull, one or two bold moves to get us over that hump. And I think the Rams clearly were just like, no, we're chasing that one big thing. They got their one big thing, but now what's the fallout from that?
I think you can use the Chiefs in that, right? They had Alex Smith, but then they drafted Patrick Mahomes. They found Tyreek Hill, but then they refused to pay him all that money and traded him to the Dolphins. And they kind of find other little pieces and parts around to still stay relevant. They don't really have a crazy running game or a high-priced defensive player, but they consistently are there because they found out, okay, well, Kelsey is important and the quarterback's important, and they always find a way to kind of reinvent themselves and stay relevant to a certain extent.
But ultimately, they're there all the time because of the quarterback.
Yeah, exactly. You're also talking about one of the top two quarterbacks in the league, and I might struggle to, you're talking about a transcendent talent.
Yeah. And
you're talking about a transcendent offensive designer, engineer, and play caller. Not every coach is going to be able to make as many different varied parts work in a magical way, the same way that Andy Reid can. And not everybody has a Patrick Mahomes. So they have the luxury of doing that to some degree and not having to sell the farm to get there because you've got a player that can carry the whole team there. But of course they also have, one could argue, why don't they spend more money on their defense? One could argue that, or why have they not devoted more to something else? I mean, that's why this is so much more than just getting out on the field. This is why so much of this is a chess match on so many different levels, not just on game day, but just in roster construction.
I want to go back to Baker for a quick second. I was a little bit surprised that the Rams claimed him on waivers. And I'm wondering, do you think that there was any sort of backdoor maneuvering to get him there? Because when he asked for it and was granted his release, I thought, okay, for the first time, he has the ability to choose his next team. And he didn't. The Rams claimed him. Just curious, as well as you know him, do you think he's happy they claimed him? Do you think he had something else in mind? It was just curious to me that he asked for his release, and now he still didn't get the opportunity to pick his next team.
I think he's probably intrigued by the idea of playing for Sean McVay.
Agreed.
And this is actually taking me back to a conversation I had. This is interesting. Okay, so week 17 last year, I'm at the Rams at Ravens game. And as we all know, Odell Beckham found so much success in LA that he did not find in Cleveland. And on the field pregame, Les Snead, the Rams general manager, and I are kind of talking about this a little bit and about how Odell didn't necessarily have the same freedom within the parameters of Kevin Stefanski's Browns offense that he did have in LA with Sean McVay and Matthew Stafford. And part of that is Sean McVay and how he sees things. And Les Snead was telling me, and part of that also is that Matthew Stafford was sort of used to this with Megatron. And that Matthew Stafford had said that Megatron wasn't necessarily the guy that ran the most precise, timed out routes, cutting at exactly this moment and looking for the ball at exactly this moment, that he was a guy that would freelance a little bit more. So Stafford was more used to kind of playing that way. And McVay clearly appreciated that, where perhaps Stefanski liked a little bit more discipline or strictness or whatever with Baker Mayfield and ran that timing and that rhythm and timing offense. I wonder if part of Baker, who loved to right, Jason? Like, love to freelance a little bit, love to kind of play, let's call it backyard football. Is he excited to play for a head coach who's not going to constrict him that much? Is he excited to play for a head coach who says, just go out there and ball? Go out and find your open man. And especially on a day like tomorrow, I mean, today, we're Thursday. I can't keep anything straight.
They all
I'm
run
sorry,
together.
guys. Yeah, well, I've been with a sick 3-year-old for 4 straight days, and I'm about to lose my mind. So, if it's not already lost. In any case, yeah, I think that there's something intriguing about that, too. I mean, you made the point. Look, I'm boring the crap out of Adam.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
I love how she just calls us out.
I love it too.
Adam,
I just had to
Adam,
look
when you
something up
talking in
real
the back
quick.
of the
You're not
class.
boring me at
She's
all.
like a kindergarten teacher trying to keep us all in line.
Yeah, keep me in line. I like it. Go ahead.
Jason, don't be throwing empty water bottles.
I have an empty coffee cup. I'm waiting for the right opportunity.
Look at your Twitter. Look at your Twitter when I'm off the air.
He already spilled coffee all over himself this morning.
Oh, it was a disaster.
Man,
And that's like the 17th worst thing to happen this morning.
I blame Steve for putting me on camera while I was looking at my phone.
Wide shot. I think they appreciate when
Zoom.
when I'm calling you out on
Oh,
what
yeah.
needs to be
Yeah,
called out
we
on.
like it.
Did he? Maybe I don't know. I've been looking at the extent of the quarterback play, and maybe it was us. Maybe we just naturally felt that it was easy for quarterbacks to put up these huge numbers. Overall, I just see like the quarterback play. It reminds us that playing that position is kind of tough, right? It's a little bit hard, right?
Yeah. Gee, we are the most screwed up society. Let me tell you, Tua, right? Tua Tagovailoa has been the story of the last couple months. The way that he came back after the concussions, the way that he's playing, the way that Mike McDaniel has pulled this, that, and the other out of him, the way that his numbers are so insane. The guy hasn't turned the ball, he hasn't thrown an interception since September. Now he goes against the San Francisco 49ers, whose head coach, Kyle Shanahan, was Mike McDaniel's mentor for basically his entire career. He goes against Kyle Shanahan, who knows Mike McDaniel better than anybody in the National Football League. And he goes against a 49ers team that, oh, by the way, has a pretty amazing defense. And people are like, what's wrong with Tua? Like, seriously? Seriously? Can we just, like, look at this for a minute? And so to your point, G, it's like we expect every quarterback to be the next coming of Peyton Manning, but, oh, not the Peyton Manning that won his second Super Bowl when he could barely throw the ball, but Peyton Manning who's this, that, and the other. I mean, even my son said the other day, and remember, he's just 7 years old, he's like, oh, well, Tom Brady used to be the GOAT, but now he's not anymore because now he's old. Well, let's have a conversation about that.
No, your son is right.
Not be
Your son is
playing
right
now at the elitist level, but he is still the all-time winningest quarterback. He is still, in a game that is measured by championships, he is still the quarterback that has the most championships. You don't just, you may not, and that's like the point of all time. Like you got one Sunday afternoon to show us how great you are, and if you have a bad Sunday afternoon, well, then forget it. That's like Steve Becker saying, well, Aditi's having a lousy Thursday, so we don't want her as a guest anymore.
She's out of here.
Come on. Not everybody can be perfect, can have a perfect quarterback rating, whatever that is.
We expect you to be perfect, Aditi. We expect the perfect quarterback rating from you.
That ship sailed a long time ago. My parents expected that too, and they are still living with the disappointment of it.
Now, do you expect Deshaun Watson not to have a perfect game, but to be a little slightly better in a game that actually matters against the Bengals?
Gee, how hard would it be to be slightly better?
Thank you.
I mean, that's
the bar is on the floor.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I'm trying to
Seriously, right? My gosh. Now,
Slightly.
look, we went into that game saying that we had absolutely no idea what 700 days of rust would really look like. And the week before, I had seen Kyle Allen, who had not played in a regular season game also in 2 years because Kyle Allen had suffered this gruesome leg injury. And so a lot of that time was spent rehabbing, and then he was on a team last year, but wasn't really fully 100%, and said it wasn't until training camp that he was fully 100%. But he had been practicing every single week. We had a Deshaun Watson that, sure, he was throwing with his quarterback coach, and sure, he was doing strength training, but that's not the same as running through a practice and running with a bunch of 30-year-old guys running routes for you. I mean, you think that their timing matches Donovan Peoples-Jones and Anthony Schwartz and Amari Cooper? So, that was just about as rusty as, kudos to the Browns defense, kudos to the special teams, kudos to some degree to the run game, whatever. But yeah, he has to pick it up. I just don't know how long it takes to knock off 700 days of rust. I don't know. And I said this to you guys on Tuesday. I don't know if just getting out there once, if seeing a live rush once, if seeing a live defense once is enough to just flip the switch back on. Like, oh yeah, okay, all my muscle memory is back. I don't, having not played the position, certainly not played it in the National Football League, I really can't speak to that.
There seems to be this weird thought or line of question. Kevin's even got a couple questions about the last couple of days about going back to Jacoby. Can we stop this? Like, what sense does that make? Like, Deshaun is the $230 million quarterback. He's going to play regardless. Like, this whole idea about the Browns can still make the playoffs is nonsense. This is what I'll say. This is what I will say in defense of beat writers, because I think being a beat reporter is one of the hardest jobs that there possibly is. Jason, you and I have both done this, and my goodness, aren't we lucky that we get to do the 30,000-foot view now as opposed to getting at the beat. But sometimes you have to ask the question just to get the answer on the record. Agreed.
I think that we are all smart enough to recognize that the Browns are thinking big picture, that the Browns have committed $230 million to this quarterback for the long term. This is a conversation we just had 5 minutes ago, that you have to be thinking about the future as much as you are thinking about the right now. If the Browns right now were sitting at 11-1, then yes, it is very valid to say, well, the Browns are in the thick of it. The Browns are on the cusp of a potential major run. The Browns have been led by Jacoby Brissett, who is clearly fresher and more ready and is the guy that has led them to 11 wins. Okay, yes, there's a question. That's not where the Browns are sitting right now. Browns are hoping that they can back into the playoffs somehow. The Browns are hoping that they can put together some sort of run. But the number one priority for the Browns is setting themselves up with the quarterback that they committed an unprecedented amount of guaranteed money to. And so what best prepares that quarterback? Seeing actual live game action that counts. We just talked about how ugly last week was because he hasn't seen any live game action. The Cleveland Browns organization is not served by sitting this guy because Jacoby right now is playing better. The health of the organization, the future of the organization is tied to Deshaun Watson playing better. But again, we all know this. Every beat writer in Cleveland knows this. Every radio guy in Cleveland knows this. But you don't want to hear that from me. You want to hear Kevin Stefanski say that. So that's why the question needs to be asked.
I agree with you. It's just come up a couple
times. Entertaining this and arguing for Jacoby to play, well, then those people sometimes you can't argue with stupid.
It's come up more than once. Like, I agree with you. You do it once, you get it on the record, you move on. It just seems like this has come up a couple of times, and I'm like, what are we doing here? What are we even talking about?
Yeah, I know. You know what? I don't know. I know, like I said, Jason, I'm just glad. I'm, knock on wood, I don't have to go back to being a beat writer in the future of my career.
Last thing,
I just don't think it's a thankless job.
We all know Stefanski 5-0 against the Bengals. They're 4-0 against Joe Burrow. And most importantly, 2-0 the last 2 years since the Bengals have been good. And both those wins were dominating efforts. The two best games the Browns have played the last 2 years were their wins over the Bengals. Is there something to it? Is there a mental hurdle? Is Joe Burrow worried about the Browns? I don't know. Or is it coincidence? And do you expect it to change this week?
I mean, I think last year you'd have to chalk up a lot to circumstance. I mean, it's almost like you have to throw out week 18. Joe Burrow didn't play. Jamar Chase didn't play. Chase played one series. Joe Mixon didn't play. So many guys were rested. So throw that one out. And then, the one in Cincinnati, I was at that game, of course, and I keep saying this, that was the Odell Beckham Jr. release week when when his dad put out the video saying that Baker kept missing him. And obviously there was, pushback from within the organization that this is not painting the whole entire picture here. And Odell was ultimately asked to stay home and then given his release. So there was that sense of sort of circling the wagons, but also the way that game started was Joe Burrow marching all the way down the field without any sort of issue. It looked like it could have been a really, really long day for the Browns, until all of a sudden Denzel Ward steps in front of Jamar Chase and returns an interception 99 yards for a touchdown that completely sucks all of the air out of that stadium, out of what was then Paul Brown Stadium, now Paycor Stadium, and the momentum completely shifts, and that game changed on that one major, massive play. And so the Browns were certainly better that day because they jumped off of that huge play, whereas the Bengals couldn't kind of get past that play and get their act back together and calm down and see the rest of the game, whatever you want to say. It's hard to say that those two individual games mean the Browns own the Bengals. Having said that, I did say to all of you on Tuesday, I think it's a nice matchup. I think that what the Browns do well matches up well with what the Bengals do well. I think that the Bengals have 3 top flight receivers. They have a very clear number 1 in Jamar Chase. They have a guy in T. Higgins that could be a number 1 on a lot of teams and really arguably is a 1B. And they've got a great, great, great slot receiver in Tyler Boyd. And meanwhile, the Browns, when that secondary is healthy, being able to put a Greg Newsome in the slot on every play and not just moving guys around, I think that's a really nice matchup. I think when that secondary is healthy, that secondary can really match up with receivers. I think that rush is nice against a line, when Myles Garrett and Clowney are playing as well as they are. I think it's a nice matchup. That's it. Some teams face up against other teams well. And I also think it's a burgeoning rivalry. And I expect Cincinnati to be way, way, way more nasty than Houston was. And I wonder what that crowd does. I wonder if having constant boos and profane chants, if that's what it is, and all of that is another one of those circle the wagons moment. I mean, doesn't Cleveland sort of like this idea of us against the world?
Certainly. Yeah, it's going to be fascinating to see. Aditi, great stuff as always. Have a great weekend. Where are you this weekend? What are you doing this weekend?
He says great stuff, but he was scrolling through Twitter while I
wasn't scrolling through Twitter.
At least part of it was great,
I was looking
right?
at our
Maybe
show rundown to remind myself.
Wait, Bull, show her the picture. Show her the picture real quick. Let's see what she thinks of the picture of us that Robert showed.
There you go.
Aditi, check this out.
Where do you want it? Here? Here?
Yeah, hold it there, right there, Jason. So, Aditi, we had Robert Conley, a local Cleveland artist, in studio to start the show. He was going to be at the end of the show, but then the car crashed and all this stuff happened. And he drew us this, all the artwork you see on set is his. And check out this awesome picture of us.
Wow. And he did that before he came, or he did that? Oh, he did. He prepared it before.
Yeah, no, this is not on the show. This was before, but doesn't G. Bush look like a 23-year vet NFL coach?
I mean, it looks like Byron Leftwich right there.
So lean. You look so slim. Do you think that he could paint me just as skinny too?
Yeah, that's what I said. I haven't been that skinny in 20 years.
He's still here in studio. We could ask him.
You're very skinny.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if you're allowed to say that to a woman these days, but you are very skinny.
My pants just don't fit.
Oh,
That's what the
stop
problem
it.
is, guys.
We talked about this. Just buy bigger pants.
Oh, bigger pants.
Don't you do it?
I need a new contract. I need a new contract. Then
there we go. We might get. He might be able to draw.
There's the artist right there.
Right,
that's amazing work. Let me tell you, amazing
She said
work.
that's
I'm
amazing
so
work.
impressed.
Amazing.
The best part is capturing everybody's personality so well too. That's you could see everybody's.
Dang, look at Brad's neck.
See who they all are in their facial expressions.
Yeah, exactly.
Jay looks like Barack Obama. He's right next to me. He's a light-skinned Barack Obama. He kind of looks like him. She sees it.
You guys are great.
Aditi, thank you very much. We appreciate it as
Bye,
always.
everybody.
See ya.
Guys, we were talking about Baker Mayfield.
Hey, before we get to Baker. Before
we do. Go ahead,
Do you know what will make tonight's game a lot more fun? A nice glass of Cleveland whiskey. Their Christmas bourbon is now available. You can visit your local liquor store. Take some home today. Whiskey without limits. Drink responsibly. And if Baker Mayfield plays terrible, you'll be a little tipsy, and it makes the game that much better. So Cleveland whiskey, drink responsibly. Our great friends.
Real quick before we get to Baker, I just saw something come across my phone. The walls are closing in on Dan Snyder and the NFL and the Commanders. The House Committee report investigation found that Dan Snyder tried covering up all of his misdeeds, and the NFL helped him. So I was making sure Aditi couldn't see me on camera. Yeah, I know you're shocked, right?
Hey, listen, your boy was doing work on this eight months ago. I told you, bro. Listen, these boys out here, I told you weeks ago they was going to find you. It's an election year.
Yeah.
You thought they was going to let you get out of here before the House took over? No. You've been hiding stuff all year. Now, I'm just keep it real, man. This is the reason Deshaun Watson didn't get a whole year. That right there.
What it's funny is that why'd they cover up for him and now they're trying to push him out?
Well, because now they're costing him money.
Yeah. Daniel Snyder's awful.
Real
but
quick,
all the owners are pretty
This is just a
awful.
Wall Street Journal. I'll just give you a couple sentences. Report accuses Snyder of trying to silence his accusers through a shadow campaign that included private investigators, harassment, and attempts to pay hush money. Says Snyder then deceived Congress about those tactics in his deposition to the committee that came after a prolonged fight. Congressional criticisms of the NFL's handling of the matter were just as withering, painting in stark terms the way that the league's actions effectively shielded Snyder from harsher
The league will get
punishment.
no punishment. Daniel Snyder will get kicked out, and that'll be it. It'll go away. Nothing
Nothing
else is going to happen. Nothing else is going to happen.
We're not trying to hear that. That's why you can't give them cover like that, Bull. Because every time Deshaun Watson come on this TV screen, they've been black. I had a radio, a television, Samantha Ponder crying. Oh my God, I can't believe this. I just don't get up out of here. This dude then covered it up. It's a whole investigation at the country level.
Yeah, he's a scumbag.
But I don't hear nothing more about Deshaun Watson. It's not.
That doesn't mean we shouldn't hear about Deshaun Watson if he did something too.
No. This is federal. If that was Deshaun Watson, he'd be under the jail.
He would be. But I'm saying, just because Daniel Snyder's a scumbag and he'll probably get away with it, which he shouldn't, doesn't mean if Deshaun Watson did something wrong that he should get a pass.
Listen, I'm not. He didn't get. All he did is, we had 5 grand juries. A grand jury didn't convict him. The Congress convicted this guy.
Well, I don't know that they convicted him. I don't
They
know.
didn't convict him. They just investigated him and found that.
Yeah, he was just pretty much lying.
Yeah, he's a scumbag. We all know that.
And
I'm not surprised by that.
the NFL covered it up.
And of course, Roger Goodell's a scumbag. They're all scumbags. I mean, of course they are.
That.
And I got one more thing.
I just got to get this on the record.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean Deshaun shouldn't be held accountable.
That shouldn't change anything for Deshaun. I don't think one has anything to do with the other.
So here's what we're talking about. It ain't about whether you hold people accountable or not. It's the energy level. Every single time we hear about Deshaun Watson is, people be over the top, over the moon. They got signs with rapists and all kind of stuff.
Right, but the answer is not to be easier on Deshaun Watson. It's to be harder on Dan Snyder.
But here's the thing.
Yeah.
When you say nothing's going to happen,
yeah,
that's not holding them accountable.
I think something should happen, but I know that he's going to get away with it because guys like him, rich people get away with it.
I mean, he's being forced to sell the team.
There you go.
Okay,
so he's not getting away with it. He is going to sell the team.
That's true.
And Deshaun made $230 million.
There you
so
go.
He's not exactly hurt.
Yeah, right. That's true.
Give up that team, buddy.
We're going to get back to Baker here, but I got to show you guys something. One thing I found real quick. And I found it on the internet, and when we find stuff on the internet, it's brought to us by our good friends at PCC Airfoils. Looking for a job with career advancement and great benefits? PCC Airfoils is a leading manufacturer in Northeast Ohio. All locations of PCC Airfoils in Eastlake, Mentor, Wickliffe, Minerva are hiring for all positions starting at $18 and up. Plus full benefit packages, paid time off, and a signing bonus. You can apply online at precast.com/careers to learn more. We have a stinger from Eddie we're going to play at the end of the show. He gave us another PCC jingle. We'll get that. But let's take tag board full, Steve. You know how Thursday Night Football, Amazon does the shop? Well, Baker's playing tonight, and do you see second line on the left? Who's on the shop tonight, coincidentally?
Oh, my God.
Odell Beckham Jr.
All right, I will
on
not
the shop
be watching
tonight
a moment
with
of this.
LeBron.
I don't know if anybody else is.
If Baker plays, must-see TV.
Wow.
I'm not watching this. I can't. I have had enough of hearing about Odell Beckham Jr. Everybody's doing this Odell Beckham Jr. tour. He's not even going to play this year. He won't even work out for anybody because he's not like, what is going on? Why are we doing an Odell Beckham Jr. tour when he can't play?
No, I want to hear him talk about Baker.
Right.
Yeah, that's fine.
Because he's Odell Beckham Jr. He's a superstar.
No, he's not.
Oh, yeah.
No.
No, what I'm saying.
He didn't play like a superstar anymore.
See, you talk about we talk about cultural impact. He don't like. It's not. He's playing. He don't never need to play, and he'll still be a superstar.
Okay, I get what you're saying from that perspective. But on the field, he's not a superstar.
Hey, they don't care. He knows LeBron. He knows Jay-Z. He has a lifetime Nike deal, and on top of that, he does songs with Drake. He's gonna be famous forever.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things.
I don't care. I'm just saying, like, I don't understand what the hubbub is about him right now when he's not playing. Like, why were we talking about where he was going when there was so many stories about it? I was like, he's not playing.
He's Odell Beckham Jr.
But he's not been that good on the field.
I know.
And by the way, contrary to popular belief,
that's OBJ, bro.
Contrary to popular belief, yeah, I give him credit. He played well in the postseason when it mattered. Overall, he wasn't that much better with the Rams than he was. Like, he wasn't putting up big numbers with the Rams. He had one big game in the playoffs. He had a nice first. Everybody was like, "Oh, he would have won MVP." I don't know. Like, Cooper Kupp's their best player. So I don't know.
No, come on, bull. You know he was dominant. You know he was balling the second half of the
But
season. You know that.
He was not balling in the playoffs. He did. I give him that.
He came there with no training camp, no none of that.
What do you mean no training camp?
He played
for the Browns.
He didn't know the pain. He don't know the
I'm
Rams
saying
playbook.
he averaged about 40 yards a game until the
How
playoffs.
many touchdowns he have here?
He had a lot more touchdowns there. I give him that. He was on a much better team, and he was not the number one receiver. But he's not a superstar anymore on the field.
He's not a superstar there. But I will say this. I don't know why people was mad. People was mad. Oh, he showed that Baker was garbage. His dad was right. You suck. You've been traded three to teams. You went over here. You was trash. You about to play with the Rams. So what was the problem with Odell Beckham Jr.'s dad said? He was garbage.
I mean, I don't care. I'm no defender of Baker, obviously, but I don't think a player should do that to another player personally. Even though you know what I feel about Baker, but that has nothing to do with anything else. I mean, Odell has been his own worst enemy.
He won a championship. I mean, he cool.
Well, I hear you, but that not everybody on that wins a championship is a superstar.
Hey, man, look, if you tell me I've been injured a whole lot, they said I was done, I was washed up, I went to a team I knew nothing about, and I was contributing.
You think he's going to be a big-time player again?
I don't think he'll be the same player.
Probably not.
No.
He's not the same player.
I just think there's too much hype for a guy who's just been a guy, in my opinion, since his third year in the league. And nobody was more excited to trade for him than I was. And I don't hate Odell personally. Like, I'm not rooting against him like I do with Baker because I root against Baker. But I just think there's too much hype. He makes himself a victim all the time, and I'm kind of sick of that.
Some would argue that we did a whole 25 minutes on Baker, and he's garbage. He is
garbage.
Well, here's the thing. But Baker is a superstar.
No, he's not.
No. Y'all not understanding what I'm talking about.
You're saying Baker's a cultural superstar?
Listen, what I'm talking about on the field, off the field, who you are.
Yeah.
The reason I'm saying Baker is a superstar is because he can walk anywhere and you know who he is. He could go anywhere and be like, oh, I'm about to get $19 million on TV.
Well,
tomorrow.
Then let's get another word for it because I think a superstar, I think a great player on the field.
Baker will never get a national commercial ever again. That was because he was the number one overall pick.
Hey, listen.
No, I think he's right.
He's already got a Nissan one.
Nissan? No, that's the Heisman.
He's part of it. He's in that
true. He's in it.
But that's through the Heisman. It's because he won the Heisman.
He could be the next wave of Lee Corso.
Well, I said he's going to be on Big Noon Kickoff in 2 years.
They're gonna give him that bag. Baker Mayfield, Johnny Manziel, all these people, when you can say them and they know if I could walk in the middle of the hood or the woods or the country and you know who I am, that means you are a superstar.
I think Manziel's a punchline. He's not a superstar. He's a punchline.
Everybody know who Johnny Manziel is.
We need a different
Everybody knows
word.
who Charles Manson is. Doesn't mean he's a superstar.
Well, I mean, he's dead and he's a serial killer. But here's a reason why judges sometimes don't let people do interviews behind jail because they are superstars. Like Ted Bundy, they're like, no, y'all not gonna come to interview.
They're celebrities.
They're celebrities.
I think we can't call them superstars. I feel like you got to change the word.
I'll give it a little bit, you know, on that
celebrities.
conversation.
Yeah, that's
celebrity.
fair.
He's a celebrity.
Yeah.
There you go.
Definitely. Odell is a big-time celebrity.
Yes.
And Baker is a celebrity. Not as big as Odell, but he's still a celebrity.
Really
I give you that.
Hey, I don't scared me, bro. Who's that?
Hey, Jay's here. Is that Jay?
Jay.
Hey, man, don't you do that.
Jay just made it. Jay, is Jay coming in?
Jay's in the house.
Don't you be doing that, bro. I saw a white dude at the door. I said, do we have shooter rolls around here? Somebody gets
What? What?
Jay, look at this picture.
No!
Look at this picture. You feeling all right?
You good, man?
I'm shook. I'm not going to lie.
You should go to the doctor, we were saying.
No, you know what?
But you never know. You feel good in the moment, and then later in the day you feel bad.
I don't have the adapter for my
Do we have an
IFB.
adapter? We need an
This is
adapter.
crazy. This don't usually
No, I'm
happen
good.
like this, I swear.
So a lady T-boned you?
Yeah, my car's totaled.
Oh,
man.
my God.
That's,
She went through a stop sign?
She blew right through a stop sign. She said she was in a hurry. She doesn't travel this part of town.
Oh, my gosh.
And she said that she
But you're all right.
She never saw me. I saw her. And I tried to steer out of the way.
But you couldn't do it.
But
you're all right?
I'm fine. I think my arm might have a bruise or something where the airbag, I had never been in a vehicle where an airbag had been deployed.
Oh, my
It's like a
God.
burn. You got like a burn from the airbag.
I mean,
That's scary.
it was nuts because
We got an
minded.
echo.
Yeah, we got to fix all. This has been the
Yeah.
show, the
Okay,
chaos.
just
We,
throw it
section.
out.
we can
Yeah.
take it out right
Okay.
now. Yeah.
It was just, more than anything, it was just a complete and utter surprise of it. You don't,
Yes.
when you're going through and it was, I got to tell you, the one thing that I'm very lucky about is if I hadn't braked and turned away, she would have got me straight in the side door, in my driver's side door.
Yeah. Oh,
And
God.
my front tire ended up, inside the engine cavity. I mean, she was going at a heavy enough clip where my legs would have been pinched. And my upper body would have been jetted
God.
that way, but
You should go to the doctor. I know you're not going to do it.
I won't.
But
I'm
sometimes
okay.
later in the day you feel some pain.
Yeah.
I got into an accident once. I was fine. Then a couple hours later my neck was
that
hurting.
that might happen.
Yeah.
And, I'm not saying that it won't, but
it's scary. You seem a little like
I'm
it's
definitely
shake-
listen. When you're involved in something like that,
it's scary.
And I was really shook for her. She was upset. She was really upset, and it took a little while, but she was uninjured as well.
Thankfully,
You
everybody's
guys are
walking
very
away.
lucky.
That's
Yeah,
incredible.
as I told her when she got out, the first thing she says is, "Oh my God, you have such a nice car." I go, "That's okay. It can be replaced. Are you okay?"
Yeah.
And it took
Well,
me a
that
while
was-
to get out because I had to climb out through this maze of airbags, side
Oh,
airbag,
my
everything.
God.
went off.
I'm gonna
Well,
tell
good
you
thing
what,
it all worked.
Remember,
Did you walk here, Jay?
You was
Did you walk here from the crash?
I did. I did.
Where was the crash?
First of all, she gets out of the car. She's like, "Oh my God, I know you."
Where was the crash?
Rockwell and 13th.
Rockwell.
3 blocks from
Okay.
here.
I'm like, why is all these cops over here, bro?
Yeah,
I'm
we
like,
had
this-
fire trucks.
everything.
The
I'm
whole
like-
shoot match.
And
Yeah.
little do I know, there was you hanging out there.
Yeah,
and-
but everything's
you
good.
you said something a couple weeks ago about them seatbelts, bro. And I
Yes.
went home.
Yep.
And I looked at them seatbelt crash. And by the way, in the state of Ohio, you don't legally have to wear your seatbelts in the back, but you should.
Wow,
should.
really? I didn't know that. I thought all passengers
but
did.
you should.
There's no reason
please
not to.
put 'em-
It's
man,
crazy.
There's no reason not
Yeah.
to.
You put them seatbelts on. I watch literally like crashes where people have been ejected out the sides and the backs. And it changed me. Since you said that, my mom and dad got in the car and said, y'all got to put your seatbelts on. And they was kind of spooked. Like,
Yeah, I've had a couple people that have reached out to me on email and have told me that they didn't have a seatbelt habit, but they didn't have a seatbelt habit,
Yeah.
but they saw my final take. For those of you that didn't, I had a nephew that on Halloween night was involved in a car accident that changed his life forever. Tremendous athlete, missed the state tournament by 1 match last year as a sophomore in a grown man class. 185, I think, was his weight class last year. Big, strong kid, plays football, very good athlete. Would have been a state contender this year, and perhaps by his senior year, a chance to win the state championship. Was involved in an accident, didn't have a seatbelt on, ejected from the vehicle.
Oh my God.
I think his 10 down, C10. So I think it's basically about the lower rib cage down. He's paralyzed, and I get video.
Oh my God.
A couple times a week from his rehab sessions. He's in Chicago now rehabbing, learning how to live the rest of his life. The funny thing, in one of the videos, it's not funny, but you don't think about this. If I push you, without knowing it, you tense your legs up
Right, sure.
to keep from falling. That's what you do.
Yeah.
And there's video of him sitting in a chair, and they're teaching him that, and they tap him, and he goes all the way over. He's got nothing to lock up from here down.
Yeah.
So I ask for the videos because I want to be kept up to speed. I want to go through this experience with them, and the one of the first things that came through my mind is I don't care about my car. I just got the car too, not long ago.
Yeah.
I don't even care about that.
Yeah.
I'm just thankful that it could have been
Right.
much worse.
Well, it's good that you had a new car and you had airbags that were working.
Now,
And
Is Baker Mayfield washed up?
Is he a bust?
I'm so sorry I missed that conversation.
We didn't do it. We actually were just about to do it.
We didn't do it.
Things got all turned around today. You missed the draft for the 2 drafts.
I know. I was so prepared.
And you missed Fence Riders.
I was so prepared.
Good,
for the
unlike
draft.
these two who are not prepared for the draft.
Do we know who won that?
G. Bush, listen, anytime we put a poll up, you win. So,
I clearly won the second one. There was no doubt.
He said clearly. I was in it. I won both of those polls.
You were lost. Your
One
team
thing
was
you
terrible.
can never, rarely say you won or lost is a draft.
Well,
I mean, it's all.
We do have to talk a little Josh. We can do Baker for a few. We got to get some Josh Bell in here because we didn't get to it yesterday with the audio.
Right in time.
Let's let Jay. Let's go 5 minutes on Baker and wrap up with Josh Bell.
I think Baker's done.
You think he's done?
Can anybody argue that he's not?
I said earlier.
It's so funny because you were the biggest Baker defender. Jason and I were the biggest, and G, we're all big critics. We think there's a chance he can still have at least a career.
I think it's a really good thing
and you
for
think
him.
he's completely done.
Well, the thing is, if they had Cooper Kupp and he had time in the offense,
right? They got nothing there.
But if you think about what he's going to put on tape,
right?
That's what he's going to be able to go into the free agency period with. What he's going to put on tape is a 1-5 record with the Carolina Panthers, a team that has a better record without him as a starting quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
And he's now going to. I am hoping with everything, because I need something positive today. I hope I get in front of my TV at 8 o'clock and I turn it on and I get to watch Baker Mayfield quarterback a team. It's like putting a bag over someone's head, funneling a fifth of liquor down their throat, spinning them around 50 times, take the bag off and say, go play the most difficult position in all of sports.
That sounds fun.
They might do that.
Yes.
That's what I'm told.
They might. He's been there 48 hours, and they might.
So what's that tape going to look like?
And they don't have Kupp. Their offensive line's awful. They can't run the ball.
Right.
So they really have nothing.
So how do you think that he's going to do
something?
Well,
not this year. I think there's a chance.
But
he's done getting a guaranteed starting spot. That we know.
I would think so.
I think there's a chance he could go. I'm not saying it's definitely going to happen. I think there's a chance he could go somewhere, maybe with the Rams, St. Louis, maybe in LA with the Rams.
Yeah.
If Stafford retires because of his injury or whatever.
Sure.
And if he's with a good coach, if he gets a chance to compete for the starting job,
but that would
maybe
be the
he
coach
still
that
has
could
a
save
career.
him.
I
think this is a long-term play for the Rams.
Oh, you do?
Oh, yeah. Because otherwise, why would they claim him? Like, they wouldn't claim him.
Or a long-time lottery ticket.
But I'm saying I don't think they're looking at Baker as the next 6 games. I think they're looking at as, hey.
He's young. He's had success.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
And you know what? McVay is the quarterback whisperer, so to speak. I mean, he's had success with the offense.
Yeah.
I can see why he might think, I'm Father Flanagan, I can save this kid.
And I think they're looking at this as an opportunity. They have no draft picks.
Right.
If Stafford does walk away.
You're right.
What quarterback are they getting?
But
no, you're right with that.
So I think
the only thing I'd say is, like, they had a Baker-esque quarterback in Jared Goff, and he was like, it's not good enough. We need somebody better.
Well,
he may have no choice at this point.
He may not be able to win a Super Bowl, but they won quite a few games with him, and they don't have
Well, they
picks.
went to the Super Bowl with Goff.
Yeah, they went to a Super Bowl with Goff.
Yeah.
So when you look at Baker.
And Goff's actually having an okay season.
And he should just go out there and just
Detroit's
throw the ball
having
around.
Best season in years.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, Jason, because this was talked about. I never looked it up, but you'd be the guy to know. I was told that the Rams were the only team to put a waiver claim in on.
Yes.
Yeah.
But by my understanding, there's an order to that claim.
Yes.
Once a team puts the order in.
Everybody puts in claims at the same time, and then you find out who got
Based
them.
on the
lowest.
order.
I didn't. Okay, that's what I was wondering.
Right, yeah.
That's what I didn't know, and I
Yes.
wanted clarification on.
Yeah.
So that's a bit surprising and telling.
And that's why I think this is longer than a 6-game play, because they've given up on the season. Like, you know,
would think.
Yeah. But the fact
So
that
kick the tires on them
But
for
they
5
might
games.
have thought somebody else would claim them for that little money.
Well, probably San Francisco. That's
Maybe.
probably where they were trying to keep him from. That's
Yeah.
the only other team that would really make sense.
I mean,
but I
sure.
asked Aditi, when we had Aditi on, it's curious to me. He asked for his release. So did he have this in mind?
I
Was
wonder
this
if-
a backdoor play?
I think the agents probably had already contacted them and said, "Look, we would love to get Baker here.
Right.
Have Baker ask out of his contract."
Because I thought, okay, this is the first time where he's going to be able to pick his own situation and pick his next team. Because we said earlier, I thought Carolina was an awful spot for him at the time of the trade.
Yeah,
I didn't like Carolina. So now he's in control of his career for the first time. Oh, but he's not because the Rams just claimed him. But was this done with the intention of the Rams claiming him? I don't
Guys,
know.
It's an interesting
Let's
question.
leave that here because we do want to get to Josh Bell. We didn't get a chance to talk about it yesterday.
You're right.
We got 10 minutes to go. Let's start. Jason, you weren't here yesterday, although we didn't get to it. Your take on the Josh Bell signing by the Guardians?
It was a great signing. Jose Abreu was the name that we had talked about as a right-handed bat. Josh is a switch hitter. It doesn't kill you against lefties.
Not great against lefties, but
doesn't
he's
kill
not
you.
Josh Naylor.
He's better than Josh Naylor.
Yeah.
He had a terrible time with San Diego this year. And probably deflated his value a little bit.
But he still won the Silver Slugger because he was really good in Washington.
He was really good in Washington. He was great in Pittsburgh. I think it's a great signing. I was excited to see it. It's that punch that they need.
Yeah.
And now we'll see what they do at catcher.
Jay, your thought?
So the question, I think the question was, I left my notes in my car.
Yeah.
I think the question was, is this the big move for the Guardians?
Yes.
And my answer is, it's a big move. I hope it's not the only move. I think Murphy at catch is absolutely a fit. I'm keeping my fingers crossed and hoping that happens, but you can't not love this move. It's a major, major upgrade at the position. Naylor wasn't a natural first baseman. He was improving as a first baseman. And Bell, I don't think, is a defensive.
No,
he's a great defensive. Yeah, he's not a great defensive first baseman at all. But what I'd say about him is as I dug into his stats, because I remember the one really good year, but as I dug into his stats, he's had 4 full seasons, more than 140 games. He's had some seasons where he missed some time.
Right.
His averages, if I can remember, I think his averages for those 4 full seasons, 25 home runs, 71 RBI. Yeah. And last year, his numbers were, I think, 17 home runs and 71 RBI.
Because he just completely tanked in San Diego the last 2 months.
Yeah, he didn't do well at all in San Diego, but he was having a fairly good year when he was
Washington,
moved.
Yeah.
So I think it's a great move. I think it addresses one of their 2 biggest needs. I think their biggest need was catcher.
Yeah.
But I think their second biggest need was first base. You can still keep Naylor in the mix.
Yeah.
You can use him as a DH, have him hit right-handed pitching, platoon him with someone who can handle lefties.
Yeah.
I'd like to see them go out and find that bat.
They have to. So, I'd like to see. G, what do you think? Were you excited about this or lukewarm?
I want to see 30 home runs.
He could hit 30 home runs. It's not a guarantee, but he certainly could. This is a good hitter's ballpark.
Where do you put him in the lineup? Do you put him before Ramirez? Do you put him after Ramirez?
I would put him right after Ramirez.
I would too.
I would not move Ramirez out of the 3 hole. That's pretty well.
Yeah,
I think I'm hitting Josh Bell 4 probably.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, guys. This shouldn't be the biggest move. It should be catcher. I agree with you guys. If it's not Sean Murphy, go after Alejandro Kirk. You probably have to give up even more for him.
You were disappointed about what happened with Contreras yesterday.
Only because he went to the Cardinals.
Right.
I knew they were going to lose him.
And that's like when we lost Hayden
to
the. It's worse than when we lost Hayden to the Steelers because a lot of people thought Hayden was kind of done.
I hate that he went to the Cardinals. If he had gone anywhere but the Cardinals or Yankees, I would have been fine. But now that that's happened, obviously Murphy's the best catcher on the board. It's going to take a lot to get him. Supposedly the Cardinals said the price was too high. The Guardians have to, if they don't get him, they got to get somebody else. There's got to be, and that's the thing, as a player, I think Josh Bell, I like him, don't love him as a player. However, the upgrade they got, because to me, it's not about Naylor. It's about, essentially, he's taking Owen Miller's at-bats.
Yeah.
Right? And from Owen Miller to Josh Bell is a tremendous upgrade.
Major upgrade.
And now, you're right, in addition to catcher, which has got to be their biggest move, because they're going to take a hit in the prospects, which they need to do and they can afford to do, they have to get a first base DH type who can crush lefties, and hopefully he's a guy who can play a good defensive first base. You don't see this very often at that position, but you can bring him in late in games.
Late in the game. I thought the same thing. Who do you want there in 7th, 8th, and 9th innings of critical games?
Because Naylor sucks defensively, and Bell is a first
baseman. You know what? I
used
to think Naylor sucked, but he made some pretty nice plays.
He improved.
Think of the play he made in the playoffs with the stretch.
He did improve.
We were at a game. We all went collectively to a game. And one of the first things I said was, I don't have high hopes for this season. We got a short, pudgy guy playing first base who doesn't know the position. A couple innings later, he boots a ball that is a big play in the game. And I go, see, this guy's terrible at first base. Juxtapose that with the play he made in the playoffs. I'm like, man, that guy's come a long way.
But it would still be nice to have another guy who you believe in more.
You telling me you need 3 people to play one first base?
No, 2 positions, first base, DH combined.
Yeah. So you have Naylor, you have Bell, and you need another guy?
Naylor cannot play against lefties, period.
Yeah, he
cannot hit lefties.
160 against lefties?
He's horrible. He is untenable against lefties.
I don't think they're going, this is it. They're not going to go get another bat outside of catcher.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, but Jason, if you could get a first baseman who could just hit a DH first baseman who just hits lefties, you can get that guy for $5 million.
Yeah, he's not a premier
not a star,
guy.
but
basically you're splitting Naylor in half.
Right.
You're looking for Brandon Geyer.
Yes,
basically.
yes.
That type.
Somebody who's a positional,
a guy who could play the field.
A situational guy.
Yes.
So it's not going to be a big dollar, free agent name.
Right.
Or you ship Naylor and you go out and you get all in one. You get the guy, but that's going to cost too much money.
Right.
So
Well,
you kind of piece that position together.
Dollar
Hey, man,
store.
You know what you're doing? You know what you're doing?
But here's the thing
You're trying
now.
to figure out how to stretch that buck in the
Here's-
I
grocery
got news
store.
for you. I think that guy's Owen Miller. I don't think they're bringing
Maybe
anybody else
maybe
in.
it is Owen Miller.
Yeah.
We're gonna put
I
some
don't- I don't
Maybe it
love
is Owen
that.
Miller.
Put this
Yeah, the
over a
problem is
bed
there
of
are other
noodles.
young guys like Brennan and Benson. They're lefties.
Right.
Yeah,
Chris,
you
You
need-
know,
it's-
but the catcher is imperative here. I mean, it would be if they don't get a big upgrade at that position. Even if they got Christian Vasquez, who's not as big an upgrade as you would like, that's still a lot better than Hedges.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And so they do have more work to do. And I'll tell you what, I'd love them to go get a veteran, middle of the road starting pitcher too for $8 million.
I would like that too.
Where is this bag coming from?
I don't.
We got a new owner. We got a
new
new
part owner.
minority
They
owner.
got one of the lowest payrolls in the league. Spend some freaking money here.
You're
right.
getting a pitcher, a catcher, another first baseman.
Well, the catcher's not
Bro.
going to cost a ton of money.
Bro, the Yankees just dropped $40 million a year on one guy. By the way,
Padres did an 11-year contract. The guy's not even a
That's
superstar. He's
insane.
I know.
a really good player. But
Crazy.
He's not a superstar.
He's 30.
I was
And
watching.
he's 30.
I
At
was
least
watching
Judge
L-
is a superstar.
I was watching MLB Network yesterday.
Yeah.
And they had their color analyst on, former pitcher. What the hell's his last
Leiter?
name? Bell. I think his last name's Bell. Is their color commentator?
Padres?
Yeah, Padres.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
and they were talking about. He's like, wow, Padres were in on Judge.
Trey Turner and Judge.
They were the secret team.
And he said, what's going on here? And he goes, our owner's just committed. He's just writing
Think about-
checks.
I don't-
But that's not a good way to spend money.
Well, no, but in the short term, I think in the long term that contract's a disaster. For
It
them.
is a disaster.
But think about it in the short term, they're going to have
their lineup
after his
is
suspension's over,
ridiculous.
they're going to have Machado, Tatis,
Soto.
But
Bogarts.
What is Tatis going to be?
I still think he's going to be a great player.
It's worth asking.
Right.
How much of a difference is there?
Yeah.
We know what the baseline was for Barry Bonds and what he ended up becoming.
Right.
Now, I'm not saying that use has that big of an impact on every player.
We'll see. You're
see.
right. It's fair. I'm going to assume he's still going to be real great, but but their lineup is ridiculous.
I think I was talking to somebody about this who works in baseball. The Chargers leaving helps the Padres. They're the only team in town.
Yes, that's true.
They have the whole market to themselves now. But I still think this is going to be a Florida Marlins situation. Eventually, they're going to cut and burn all these guys. You would think they're going to try and trade and unload this.
Yeah.
I don't know how tenable
but
this
those
is.
guys,
they're still spending.
in another 3-4. I mean, Soto will still be good, but in another 3-4 years, Machado and Bogarts are going to be a disaster.
Well, I don't even know it's going to be that long. Like, I think they're trying to go all in for another year or two, like the Marlins did. They won in '97, and they said,
Yeah,
okay,
and
we're
then
done.
'98,
It's
you look at
tough.
their roster, you're like, who are these guys?
That division's tough.
How old is their owner?
Their owner?
Yeah.
I don't know
even
much about him, but the color analyst was like, he's got unlimited money. He's not
Yeah.
afraid to use it.
Good
I'm like,
for him.
Can he buy the Guardians?
Yeah,
Dude,
right.
Can you imagine how much fun that would be?
I mean,
Yeah.
how many designer purses does your wife need, man?
Yeah,
You can't just
exactly.
say, buy me the championship. I don't
Exactly,
care about these
but-
kids coming after me. They got to work.
The good thing is the Guardians.
right.
the
Can't take it
good
with
thing
you.
is the Guardians don't need that much. They really don't need
No,
that
they
much.
don't. No, and they could for that amount of money, $40 million a year. They could add that to their payroll and still be middle of the pack.
Right.
In baseball.
Right. There's no reason they shouldn't be able
So
to add 40
and that's
million.
why I think we deserve to be at least middle of the pack in payroll.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Chris Antonetti said a payroll would be appreciably higher. Again, I don't think there's anything to do with minority ownership because the Dolans didn't get that money. That went to Kansas City, Sherman.
But
that
everybody
was his
just
shares.
they all just got another $40 million from that
BAM
Tech.
Tech. The BAM
Exactly.
Tech. So
let's
that needs
go.
to be
You spent what? What are they? What was the Bell contract? I can't remember how much money it was now.
17-ish. And he
two
can
for
opt
33.
out. He can opt
Yeah,
out after
right,
the first
which
year.
You know, I that was funny to me. I saw that. Why can he? I didn't like that part of the
because
contract.
that's how they could get him. Because
Oh,
you bring
okay.
him
But
in
I don't
and
mind.
say
But
I
you
don't.
have-
I don't like it.
Here's what I don't mind. If he has a great year, well, he opts out. Okay, he had a great year.
I guess.
And if he has just an average year, well, you got him for a second year, and he was decent.
yeah. Well,
But-
a mutual opt out would have been fine. I would have been good with that
Yeah.
because what if he's a pig and we want to cut?
Unfortunately,
pay?
that's the way.
So we're stuck. I know. That's how you get a player.
But
like that.
but that's not a crazy amount of money, and they have some money. The catcher, if they get Sean Murphy, he's not making that much money right now. So you could add a starting pitcher and a platoon first baseman for another $15 million total.
Which one do you guys want to wrap us up?
You
and
wrap
get
us up,
out?
man.
We got to go. All right, we got overtime coming up. What are we doing on overtime, Mikey?
Best Cleveland athlete of all time.
Best Cleveland athlete of all time. Stick around, become a member. Subscribe and become a member. $4.99 a month to become a member of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show for all the bonus content. We're glad Jay's okay. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Peace.
What's with the mixed minus?